What's up with it, Khan Milan, the chosen one? Man, nothing here, man. We is out here. We stay out here in these streets. In these streets. Gotta keep it going, man. I just caught this video, Khan, this morning. I was watching. I said it's kind of crazy, man. Technology is just it's getting better and better. It's getting better and better. Despite what anybody say, what's up with it, Hugo? Man, technology is getting better and better. And a lot of people think, it's getting better for something else, but no, this thing is getting better for us. It's getting better for us. Some of the things that you just can do with AI and different things right now is just like kind of next level. I found this video. Ex Google CEO banned. It's a banned interview that was leaked, and I only was listening to part of it. Sometimes I see this stuff. I wasn't because I was about to do a live, so I was listening to part of it, and just in the beginning, some of the things he said was just like, whoa. Like, you mean to tell me, because he was talking about them banning TikTok, right? Oh, dang, let me take this off. He was talking about them banning TikTok. He said right now, he said in the next year, he said Google is coming out with something that if they ban TikTok, you can type it in to this program and you can, man, you got to listen to it. I'm about to play it so you can hear it and hear what he says, and then we can talk about it. Which what? Oh, no, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to catch it yet, Con, because I barely had seen the message when we was live yesterday. But I'm gonna pop into it. I'm gonna catch it today. Oh yeah, I seen this before. I seen this before. That's gonna be something we're gonna have to dive into that one too, Con. We're gonna have to dive into that one. God, and we are electric. Yeah, I used to watch dude videos back in the days. I used to watch his videos back in the days. Dude be having some he be having some dope videos. He be letting it be known. He did his research and he be dropping it. And I think a lot of people seen that guy before videos, but we're gonna dive into this Google one. We're gonna dive into this Google one because it's like it was just kind of watch what. Let's just dive into it and hear what he got to say, and then we'll talk about it like afterwards. You feel me?
Stuff. Initially, the interview was uploaded on Stanford's YouTube channel, but a couple days later, the interview was taken down from YouTube and everywhere else. But today,
This
I
is
was somehow able to access the interview.
Let me slow it down a little bit. That was a little too fast. YouTube. This is fair use, educational purposes, in order so I can educate myself and others. What's up with it, young guy, and others on what's going on. So let's try it again.
Video after spending multiple
Fair
hours.
use.
So let's watch it together and dissect some important parts of the interview.
In the next year, you're going to see very large context windows, agents, and text to action. When they are delivered at scale, it's going to have an impact on the world at a scale that no one understands yet. Much bigger than the horrific impact we've had by social media, right, in my view. So here's why. In a context window, you can basically use that as short-term memory. And I was shocked that context windows get this long. The technical reasons have to do with the fact that it's hard to serve, hard to calculate, and so forth. The interesting thing about short-term memory is when you feed, you ask it a question, read 20 books, you give it the text of the books is the query, and you say, tell me what they say. It forgets the middle, which is exactly how human brains work too, right? That's where we are with respect to.
Hey, that's wild, because like basically that's what he's saying. They designed it to work like our minds work. A lot of these things, AI and these, Google and all this, is designed to work just like our minds do, bro. That's what's wild. Yeah, like
agents.
It's just
there are people who are now
us.
building essentially LLM agents, and the way they do it is they read something like chemistry, they discover the principles of chemistry, and then they test it. and then they add that back into their understanding, right? That's extremely powerful. And then the third thing, as I mentioned, is text to action. So I'll give you an example. The government is in the process of trying to ban TikTok. We'll see if that actually happens. If TikTok is banned, here's what I propose each and every one of you do. Say to your LLM the following: make me a copy of TikTok, steal all the users, steal all the music, put my preferences in it, produce this program in the next 30 seconds, release it, and in 1 hour, if it's not viral, do something different along the same lines. That's the command. Boom, 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 right? You understand how powerful that is. If you can...
Man, did you hear what he said? He said if they ban TikTok, you'll be able to type it in and say, hey, take all that from TikTok, make it over here. And it'll be able to do it. It'll steal all the followers, all the people off of TikTok, and it'll be your program. Boom, it'll be your app, and start it all over again. And he like, if it don't work just like that, viral and that, just do it again and type it in different, which I see a lot of people do with AI, which Just High got good at AI with typing stuff in the AI. And then, you know, you got to word it right, because if you word it right, boom. But he's saying that basically the way it works is like our mind. So, you know, we leave certain things out. Like when I go in and I type in, try to make a photo of AI, I'll say something like, you know, psychedelic gods. And then it'll create a photo. But it's missing certain pieces to what I'm trying to create because I didn't type it in, because it's working like my mind. But this right here will be able to take it further and put in them little pieces that's actually missing. I'm like going, what the heck, bro? Like, you know how, man, this is going to make a lot of people rich. I hate to say it.
Arbitrary language to arbitrary digital command, which is essentially what Python in this scenario is. Imagine that each and every human on the planet has their own programmer that actually does what they want, as opposed to the programmers that work for me who don't do what I ask.
Exactly.
The programmers here know what I'm talking about.
Exactly. You got a program that's programming for you how you want it to do. Not the opposite, not messing up, getting it right on point. But that's just still wow, because you can even do that with YouTube, with Twitter. You can do that with any one of these platforms, and you can explain it and make your own platform, and it'll make it. But it'll take all the people. It'll take all the people from TikTok and put them on your platform. Bro, you know how amazing that is? Like, I don't know how that will work, but that sounds like, whoa.
So imagine a non-arrogant programmer that actually does what you want, and you don't have to pay all that money to. And there's infinite supply of these programs.
So this is all within the next year or two?
Very soon.
So, we've already discussed on this channel a number of different versions of this. Whether you're talking about Eater, Devin...
He said the next year or two. Within the next year or two, this is going to be dropping. That is wow. The next year or two. So it's going to be pretty fast.
So you asked about what else is going to happen. Every 6 months I oscillate. So we're on it's an even odd oscillation. So at the moment, the gap between the frontier models, which there are now only 3, I'll review who they are, and everybody else, appears to me to be getting larger. 6 months ago, I was convinced that the gap was getting smaller. So I invested lots of money in the little companies. Now I'm not so sure. And I'm talking to the big companies, and the big companies are telling me that they need 10 billion, 20 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion.
Stargate is 100 billion, right?
They're very, very hard. I talked, Sam Altman is a close friend. He believes that it's going to take about 300 billion, maybe more. I pointed out to him that I'd done the calculation on the amount of energy required, and I then, in the spirit of full disclosure, went to the White House on Friday and told them that we need to become best friends with Canada, because Canada has really nice people, helped invent AI, and lots of hydropower. Because we as a country do not have enough power to do this. The alternative is to have the Arabs fund it. And I like the Arabs personally. Spent lots of time there, right? But they're not going to adhere to our national security rules, whereas Canada and the U.S. are part of a triumvirate where we all agree on.
So these $100 billion, $300 billion data centers, electricity starts becoming the scarce resource.
Now, first of all, we definitely...
First of all, 300 billion to it's like, bro, they will put money into technology, but won't put money into the life of people. of regular people that's out here just living. Like, they will put $400 billion, bro. 300 billion, 50 billion, 1 billion into this project. But what about like, come on now, man. What the hell is going on? Where's this money coming from? I thought we was broke. I thought we was like in the deficit. I thought it was bad. It was like, where's all this money at? Like, is this just digital money? Because it can't be paper. This is digital money somewhere stored. And it's like, dang, how they got, man, that's golly. They playing with numbers.
It's all Peter's fault.
Thanks to brilliant people over there like Peter and Jeff Dean and everyone.
Exactly,
but now it doesn't seem
BGL,
like
exactly.
they've kind of lost the initiative to OpenAI, and even the last leaderboard I saw, Anthropic's Claude was at the top of the list. I asked Sundar this. He didn't really give me a very sharp answer. Maybe you have a sharper or a more objective explanation for what's going on there.
I'm no longer a Google employee.
Yes.
In the spirit of full disclosure, Google decided that work-life balance and going home
You're the
early and
CEO.
working from home was more important than
Ex-CEO.
winning.
Okay, so that is the line that got him in trouble. It was everywhere, all over Twitter, all over the
Wow.
news. When he said Google prioritized work-life balance, going home early, not working as hard as the competitor to winning. They chose work-life balance over winning. And that's actually a pretty common perception of Google.
And the startups, the reason startups work is because the people work like hell. And I'm sorry to be so blunt,
Yeah.
but the fact of the matter is if you all leave the university and go found a company, you're not going to let people work from home and only come in 1 day a week if you want to compete against the other startups.
When in the early days of Google, Microsoft was like that.
Exactly.
But now it seems to be.
And there's a long history of, in my industry, our industry, I guess, of companies winning in a genuinely creative way and really dominating a space and not making.
I don't even want to. Yeah, we gonna talk about something else. That's literally crazy. It's like you get fired from your job and you come out and you give the people the game. Look, man, this is the game right here. This is what you can do, and I guarantee you gonna succeed because this is what they was doing. He's snitching. That's what he doing. He's snitching on Google, y'all. He's snitching on Google. But that is just something that's kind of wild. Yeah, just the when you think about what it's gonna help with, the people that's doing this kind of thing, this shit is gonna get, man, that shit gonna help them so much, bro. That's wild. But all in all, man, how's everybody day? You feel me? I was thinking about going in today, but I got off kind of late yesterday, and they was like, if you want to take the day off, you could go ahead. And like, I'm thinking about it, because I know once everybody gone, I'm here by myself, I'm going to start getting bored, and I'm going to be like, man, I should have just, have you ever noticed that though? Like, even when you take them days off, and like, later in the day or the next day, you go, man, I should have just went to work. Because you be in this mud bored. You be here bored. That's how it's about to get, but it's not, because I think I'm going to just run alive as long as I can. You feel me? I'm going to just run alive and just come in here and chop it up. I don't know why I just named the video the Google ex-employee, because I was going to listen to the whole thing, but it's like, okay, we heard enough. We know what's coming. That's enough. But that is crazy, though. They put all that money into technology, and they know people out here are starving, don't got a place to live, don't got food to eat. You feel me? She said, I never regret taking the day off. Like I do, depending on what happened throughout the rest of the day. You feel me? I don't know. But yeah, BGO, I don't get it. I don't get it, because when you talking about trillions, like trillions, billions, trillions, billions, like 300 billion, bro. Yeah, like I think that would that. Do you think that would fix everything? Nah, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't, because if they gave you $1 million right now, you gonna go get a gold grill and a big chain. Yeah. Go get that good grill and a big chain. Now, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it, because they put so much money into all these other things like that. Like that is more important than the well-being of the people. But everything that they doing, they're not doing for the people that's living now. They're doing for the future people that are coming. They're not doing it. It's like all these companies, they not working for us. They working for the future. And then they're making it to where they're putting you in a position to make it better also for future generations to come. It's not for us that's living right now. You know, they like, forget y'all. Y'all already here. Y'all been here long enough. You know, some of y'all need to leave. But yeah, coworkers watch your channel, and I know they see you on live and text rooms. Not concerned of a test, just asking. Young guy, do you coworkers watch your channel? You got to understand. You got to understand, bro. One thing about here is it's legal. It's legal. And most of them, they do their thing already. So, you know, like blowing tree is legal. You feel me? Shrooms, like I tell them, bro, it's one thing about me, like, you know, especially like when I'm around people, I don't like hide myself. I don't make myself seem like I don't do this or I don't do that. It's kind of funny because, you know, when you do and you start kind of talking about that, it do kind of throw people off, especially when you start like kind of explaining your past. They look at you like, I wouldn't have never thought that you was ever locked up. Like, that's the last thing I would have thought about you. Or I wouldn't have never thought that you do that right there. And it's like, because I carry myself like, you know, like normally, like anybody else do. You feel me? Like, I don't be starting riffraff. You feel me? I'm like I am now. The way I am right here, young God, this is the way I am. And then one thing I don't do is, bro, I don't go to work high. Like, you know, I don't do that no more. Years ago, I used to do that. I don't do it no more. Like, I'm more defined now, more refined. You feel me? I'm more refined with everything that I'm doing. So I don't do, it's a lot I don't do anymore. Like, I can't, you know, I'm not in, I can't go to work high. I don't like it no more. I don't like the feeling. Like, when I'm here and I'm relaxing and I'm doing this, oh yeah, I can blow, I can chill and everything. But bro, when I gotta go do stuff like that, like, nah, I'm not trying to be off the rocker. Let's see, fluffy Frenchies make a lot of people wealthy. I ain't seen anyone I know cake of AI. I'll wait though. Wait, make my fluffies. Hey, man, there's a gang of people that got cake off of AI. You feel me? Like, it's crazy because AI been around for so long. AI been around for a minute. Come on now, Ozo, you know that. AI been around for a minute, and it's probably people that then built companies off of AI. AI will build you a company or build you anything. AI will build you a new car if you ask it in the correct way. You feel me? Ever understood? Man, I always I can't say that because some people function off. You know, like I had that time to where I functioned off of smoking the same way like I used to function like normally, bro. It wouldn't change nothing I was doing or who I was. I used to function carefully all good off of it, like especially when you taking them long drives. Like, I used to function real good. You feel me? I still do and I still can, but it's like I'm older, I got more mature in what I do. You feel me? Like, it was a time to where we didn't care about walking around smelling like ganja all the time. But that day that, you know, you kind of stop smoking and then you go and you smell your shirts and they smell like cigars and shit like that, you don't want to do that no more. It's like, you feel me? You know, you just get more mature in life as you go, you know, and I think that's what it is. And it's like, you know, I ain't trying, you know, I don't know. I just don't like it no more. I don't like to get high and go to work. That shit is, it's not for me no more. It was cool back in the days, but now, no. I just don't, it's not for me. Not that I'm saying there's something wrong with it, cause you know it's a lot of young people out there like they can function real good. Like, come on now, we seen people get caught on the job drinking alcohol. Like, I never could understand that either. Is the fact people will complain about ganja, but then be a straight alcoholic, be drinking every day. Drinking on the job and some more of it, and be telling you about smoking. And it's like, bro, if you don't shut up, that's like people, like a person to be smoking a cigarette, telling you why they don't like people to smoke ganja around them. And it's like, what the man? If you don't shut up with them cancer sticks, talking about, man, I hate the smell of. We was in Vegas, and we was up the strip smoking a blunt. And this lady walked by smoking a cigarette and gonna say, well, I don't like, why they gotta be up here? Why they let people smoke that stuff out here? It's like you smoking one of the nastiest things on the planet, talking about, you feel me? Like, I think those is worse than that. Like, how you gonna say something about somebody doing something and you doing something yourself that's worse than what they doing? That other people don't like. But I think that's just us. We like walk around with this chip on our shoulder trying to tell everybody what's right and what's wrong. Man, Ozo, man, pop up in the Discord, bro. Pop up in the Discord. Brother-in-law, 41 years old, have two teenagers, still come around and smelling like tree. Yeah, I used to be like that. I ain't even gonna hold you, bro. I used to be like that. I had to catch myself. Like, you feel me? You get out your car, the baby car seat, you ain't even tripping. You getting fogged with the car seat in the car, you feel me? I go take the kids to my mama house and drop them off, and my mama like, why my grandbaby car seat smell like tree? It's like, 'cause I be smoking in the car. And like, I never really cared about it. And then one day I woke up and I said, man, that got to change. I can't, be dropping the grandkids off to my mama, and then they car seats smelling like like I've been smoking in the car with them or something, and then the smell get on they clothes because they sitting in the car seat. So I just had to change that for me, bro. That's something I had to change for myself, and I just don't do it. I just don't do it as often because especially like diving in, and you get to that point to where you see that a lot of things that you were doing, they were like, in order to, stop you from thinking about this, in order to cover up some of the things that you just, you go about doing in life. And then, you start to dive in, and then those things come to you and go, man, you don't even need me anymore. I remember when the alcohol said that to me, bro, I was confused. Like, you don't need me anymore. And it's like, dang, okay. Then I start thinking about the times when I was drinking. It was like, when it was like on them bad days, I want to have a drink. You feel me? Like, even like, I remember I got used to getting a drink, like, especially on payday. You feel me? Different things like that. The payday come, oh yeah, we go out, we buy some drink. You feel me? Go home, and it was like, dang, it was like I made a routine of a lot of stuff that I had to change, and I just, started to stop because I seen myself just making that routine of it. What's up with it, Ozo?
What's good, man?
Oh, not too much, man. Them fluffies don't cost nothing. Talking about a fluffy.
Nah, they free,
Them fluffies don't cost nothing.
Everybody got one of those.
He said, do shrooms have a smell? Yeah, they do. They smell like shit. It's an earthy smell. No, that ain't earthy. That smell like some cow dung. That's nah, but what's been up with you, oh?
Man, just chilling, man. Just, doing my thing with dogs. And the dirt bike life, you feel me?
Yeah.
4-wheelers and dirt bikes, man.
4-wheelers and dirt bikes.
What you talking about, though?
Oh no, I was listening to that little ex-Google dude that, why is it every time somebody giving away some information like that, they have to
blanked out on me?
Did it? I don't think at all, Dad threw his whole life away
You
to
too,
alcohol.
myself.
My aunt died
You
from
too,
it
myself.
a few months ago as well. Dang, man. Yeah, alcohol do that, bro. Alcohol
You
will
too,
do
myself.
that.
Alcohol. People be. What you saying? My bad.
No,
You
Snail
too.
Horseplay. Yeah, Snail Horseplay said, I don't drink at all. My dad threw his whole life away to alcohol. My aunt died from it a few months ago as well. Yeah. Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. And the thing about alcohol is I think people just, they take advantage of it, bro. They get lost in the feeling of being drunk to where they got to be drunk all the time.
Lost in the sauce, man.
Hey, what's up, Kristen? Hey, remember on South Park? You see South Park, man, when he said they told him it was, look, man, you can't do nothing about it. Alcoholism is a disease, okay? And he started playing the role. He went and shaved his hair off, got him a wheelchair. Hey, tell his son, go in there and get me go in there and get me a beer. He like, man, Dad, all you gotta do is just cut back on your drinking. He said, I can't. It's a disease, Stan. You don't understand. I can't come back. I can't come back. It's a disease. Hey, the funniest part though, remember Ozo? Hey, the funniest part is when they had the statue and the statue was leaking blood out the back and everybody was going up there to try to get blessed by the statue. And like it was people, all the people in line. And then when he came, he like pushed me to the front. And the security guard is like, hold on, you gotta get in line. He said, man, I got alcoholism. He said, hey, somebody get this man to the front of the line. Hey, there's people there with polio, AIDS, cancer, all type of stuff. Get this man to the front of the line.
Wow, man.
But hey, it's kind of weird though, because once they said that, like when you think about it, bro, that's a hard thing to quit when you and you kind of program yourself into becoming that.
Yo, cause you know why? Cause once you take a sip for the rest of your life, you're a recovering addict.
What actually makes a person what would put you under the guidelines of even being an alcoholic?
3 sips. You're recovering
3 sips
for the rest of your life.
If you eat candy every day, is you a candy holic?
It can't be at the same time. If you take 3 sips right now, that's good. But if you take 3 sips on 3 different occasions, oh, you done. Every time you go to an occasion, you sip it.
It's over. It's over. I don't know. I don't even know what it is that
Every occasion, right? At 3 occasions. Once you go to the 4th, 5th, from there on, you landslide.
And then you just landslide. But how you get so far and so deep into it to where you can't turn back, huh? You just like can't turn back at all.
That's when you out of pocket, man.
Like you can't turn
That's
back.
when
You can't.
I don't know, man. I don't know what it takes. You feel me? What family?
Those are the they lose their family and stuff. Everybody around them just gave up on them. Like, you just want to drink. You don't give a fuck about nobody. They just decide they don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, they start believing it. Like, yeah, the people around them don't make it no better.
Right. Yeah.
They don't. Because at first, when you was coming with that bottle and they didn't have no money, they was happy you showed up. Because I wasn't going to be able to buy nothing. I'm glad you popped up.
Wow.
I'm glad you showed up.
Glad you showed up.
Hey, I was waiting on the bottle. I didn't know who was going to bring it. I'm glad you popped up. Then later on, they be like, he drink too much. It's like, nigga, you was drinking with him when he was drinking too much back in the day. What's up, Dre? Hey, but Ozo, what's up, man? You ain't been diving in on the Troomies?
Oh yeah, man. Listen, man. I just I I made a big bottle, a Douce bottle, right, with
Yeah.
extract in it, and I just haven't even got to it. You know what I mean? Because I just been running around. I had to go. I had to get this fluffy. You know what I'm saying? I'm over here calling the dude up like, yo, this money's burning a hole in my pocket, fam. Like, you got me waiting on you, man. What's up? And it's like, I was just doing too many things. I was waiting on somebody else to come bring a dirt bike. You know what I'm saying? I'm waiting on somebody today to come get a 4-wheeler, to bring me a 4-wheeler today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't be tripping on a high dose and waiting on a client to come bring me a motorcycle. I'm out there sweating, looking at them in the eye, looking like an owl in the eyeballs, and pupils dilated at 1,000, talking about, yo, what up, man?
Yeah, he said, yeah, just give me the bike. You can keep the wheels. You keep the wheels. I ain't tripping.
I'll be at 100, yo. Listen, I'll be in a group of people, and I'll be the one acting normal when everybody's on 10 grams. I'll be on 10 too. Like, you feel me? I'll be acting like nothing's wrong with me. Like, I'm good. If I choose to, you feel me?
Hey, so
But if I choose to lay back,
which
I
one
have
you
to
think?
listen. Look, book. I have to literally, no matter how much of a dose it is, book. I have to literally choose to sit down somewhere, lay down, and close my eyes and relax, and just to go into trip mode, because I could snap out of it, but not be tripping. It'll be googly and my eyeballs up, but I'll fight through that and go where I gotta go and do what I gotta do, and I don't care. Like, you feel me? Googly eyed up.
Man, looking at people all crazy. They like, what he on?
Yeah, so I
did
stay
that once.
away.
I'll never do that again.
Man.
Yeah, so I stay away from people. So I choose to stay away from people because, I just, I don't want to have to, or like feel like I have to explain myself to nobody. So I just, isolate myself when I'm doing that. So I can't be having business things happening around me. You feel me?
Yeah. That's wild, because
But,
then you start having a lot of business. You never having the experiences kind of fade
nah,
away.
but listen, I have a lot of. This is the good thing about it, though. I have a lot of business and no work. You feel me?
Yeah.
So, I'm good.
Understandable. That's what I was gonna say. I said, what go faster, the dogs or the dirt bikes? What
The same
sell
thing.
faster? Oh yeah.
Same thing. The shelf life of the dirt bike is way longer.
Yeah.
Get
Duh.
A puppy grows up. A puppy grows up, but the dirt bikes stay the same.
They get old though. They get old, but they
They
don't
get
change.
old and
Yeah.
they still cost the same.
Still cost the same.
Still cost the same.
I said,
From 1996, they still cost the same.
like even like when I the times I dove in and I took mushies and went to concerts, bro. It was beautiful, but it was hectic when it first kicked in.
Yeah.
Every
I don't know how
time.
you did that.
I don't either. Man,
I be
when,
just wanting to lay down.
That was soft experience, man. I went to the dentist, man. Fall back.
yeah, he went to the dentist. I forgot. I
Oh,
was
that's right.
zooted at Neo. I was zooted at Neo concert. Everybody, hey, I forgot what those things called that was on the old Popeye cartoon. Them damn Amazon people went and
Yeah,
sang
they called
The
the
goons.
with the
Goons,
funny
kid.
nose. Yeah,
Goon Squad.
that's what everybody.
Goons.
Hey, everybody looked like that.
That's why the Goon Squad, man.
Everybody.
Where you think the Goon Squad came from, man? That's them. The goons used to come deep, and they don't care.
Yeah,
They're just minions.
But 10,000 people look like that, all the same, bro. But everybody was like moving in sync. But I think, Mahalia concert, that was wild, bro. Because I
You
seen,
ever seen the memes? You ever seen the memes when there's a shorty that looks like one of the goons?
Yeah.
Because they're female goons. They look exactly like the dude goons. Exactly the same.
Exactly. I tried to take.
Exactly the same.
I tried to take them. I tried to take them and go to SeaWorld though, because I wanted to see what the animals were saying in the cages behind the, because they locked up. I wanted to see if I could talk to them, or if they could, relay some messages to me, or why, how they feel, whether they were saved. Do you feel like you were saved, or do you feel like they stole
You're
you?
not allowed, man. Nah, you're not allowed in the zoo or nothing, man. You was about to cut down an electric pole to save a tree. You ain't going to the zoo tripping.
Hey.
You wildin'.
Hey,
You be in there to save the animals and shit or
you
something.
don't
man.
understand, man. The tree was explaining me what they was doing to him, and I said that these telephone poles and stuff is messing it up. They blocking our transmission to the trees. This is why we can't talk to the trees. Because all this electricity is
right through the wires like nothing, and you was talking about the tree was choking them out, and the tree was pretending it was being choked out. Looking at you like, come on, Buck, man. How the trees gonna play you like that, man? Just because they could go through wires and have wires all wrapped through them, and they be like, you know what I mean, swaying in the wind, looking like they about to rip the wires down, but they good. Oh damn, it goes out right.
No, you.
that was my microphone, Ozo. That wasn't
This is
you.
good.
That was me.
I can't hear him.
Yeah, mine was tripping. But no, that was trippy because I could see the whole grid of the telephone wires of the electricity wire. How they was gridding everything off, man. And the way they was doing it, it was like, it was cutting off that connection that we had to the trees. I was pissed off. All right, I was pissed off. It's like, I gotta do something about it. Hey,
the wires choking the tree.
Yeah,
the
I'm
wires
like,
choking the tree.
now when I think about it, it's like, man, because I was trying to figure out who had a ladder so I can get up there.
I was about to chop your damn telephone pole down, man. You wildin', man.
Can you imagine this man going to jail for?
And they going, why you cut that wire down? This man, y'all choking the trees.
Oh, you got a tree hugger. You got a tree hugger.
Yeah. Nah, they would have just put me in a mental institution.
We got a tree hugger here. Get back up.
They would have put me in a mental institution until my high came down. Then they would have been like, what the hell happened, man? It was I was off the mycelium. It was the mycelium. My bad, y'all.
It was enough, no damn
My silly.
Yeah,
that's what they're gonna tell you.
Silly.
They're gonna be like, you silly.
Exactly.
Yeah, get your hands up, man.
Put this jumpsuit on, dummy.
We live, dummy.
Nah, we not live.
You're
We just
under
chilling.
arrest.
Oh, okay.
Angie Schmidt.
We always live.
Oh.
Wait, we are live. Yeah.
Don't act like you fumbling and
You
not doing
tricked
it
me.
for
I was about to say some out of pocket stuff, and you'd be like, "Oh, can't say it."
Like the pilot.
Come
who
on,
hit the
Cryo. Come on,
emergency switch.
Cryo.
He said the pilot hit the emergency switch.
Oh my God. The last
Y'all,
That is
I got something pretty cool today.
Did you?
that dude said,
What's up, Charles? You got what you mean? You got something pretty cool today. Cryo.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
Taco Bell gelato from Taco Bell, Mountain Dew Baja Blast flavored ice cream.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Nice shirt.
That's the dragon chasing his tail, man. Dang.
Huh.
Chasing the dragon, man.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
I was digging in the crates and found that one.
Oh damn. What's up, Sun Tzu?
Jamaica.
Yeah, my nigga.
Sun
Yeah,
Tzu.
enjoying the space suit.
Every time I think about, hey Sun Tzu, every time I think about what you be saying, I just be wanting to quit. I'm gonna quit everything. I'm gonna quit everything and let it start all over and just see what happens. Forget it all. Forget it all. I'm gonna just see what happened. We having a number of members. I don't know, young guy. One of these days. One of these days, when we gonna when Ozo give me one of them fluffies.
What, man? You ain't ready for those, man.
When I get one of them fluffies.
Ready for those, man.
How much them fluffies going for right now? 15 bands.
Yeah. 15 bands, man.
Hell
10
no.
bands. 10 bands, easy. 10.
You don't do it like
10 bands easily. So
dog.
go like this, right? So 10,000, you could get a fluffy Frenchie for sure. But to get one that's colorful and looks crazy, it's gonna be like 15.
You know what you should do though? Would it be dope? You should start your business and run it like a car lot, to where they can come buy it and they can be paying like $300 a month. You know, and then if they miss a couple of payments, you can go get your dog back and sell it again.
Nah, if you do that, you gotta live in Nah, I wouldn't do that. I would just sell the dog. That's it. Come with the money and get up out of here, yo.
Nah, but
at the end of the day, like it's no need to like people like I scout people. Like it's not just anybody come up in here and come buy a dog off me. You know what I'm saying? It's like family. It's usually people that are family people come. You know what I'm saying?
No, but if they can finance the dog, you feel me? And then they can just be paying like, $350 a month.
You know, cash is king, and anywhere you go in the world, it doesn't matter what you got going on. If you got bread, you be like, "Here, I got some money. Let me put this down. I'll be back. I'll bring you more money." Yeah, whenever you done paying, I got you. Here, come get the dog when you're ready. I'll give you dog.
You gotta let them take the dog.
Yeah, no, hell no.
The dog gonna have a chip in it. That down payment gonna pay for the chip.
Don't mean nothing. That chip don't mean shit. Listen to this, right? If the dog costs 5,000, right? I'll give them the dog for 3,500 and give them the dog, right? And for them to come get the papers for the dog, they got to give me the rest for the 5 bands. If not, they're gonna get the dog with no papers.
Oh wow!
Hey Ozo, what if I gave you 3 chickens, 2 turtles, and a hen?
What if I just muted you because you're fucking weird, bro? How about that?
At the end of the day, right? He said, "What if the dog died?" I had one die on me. I was hot. It was the best. It was the best bully I had too, bro.
How'd it die?
Man, fuck.
It got what's that polio? What's that shit they get when they don't get their shots? And like that's the one thing that they didn't tell us, that the dogs didn't have their shots. So like now we make sure that's what we do. We go buy the shots and give them their shots regardless. And that mud, it was throwing up blood and everything. The vet cold though. I don't like the vet.
Yo, listen, this little puppy that I got right now, this Fluffy has got issues. Like this dog was like a preemie. And the dude picked the dog because she's mad tiny. This dog is really, really, really tiny. She's 6 months old, and she's the size of a 8-week-old puppy, 9-week-old puppy.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And it don't even make sense. She's 6 months. You know what I'm saying? So, this little puppy, I contacted the dude where I got it from, and I'm like, yo, listen, I'm not gonna, I was like, I never seen a dog this small at this age. You feel me, fam? I was like, this dog, matter of fact, she be peeing while she's laying down. Sometimes she's incontinent and whatever. And I had to do the math myself, right? The dog's walking and doodling without bending down to doodle and stuff like that. So I'm looking at the dog. I'm just watching the dog. I know about dogs. I've been around dogs for a long time. So I'm seeing this dog doing this thing, and I'm like, yo, you guys had this dog in a diaper, bro. How old did you get this dog? And he's like, oh, I had this dog when it was, I was like, you wasn't even supposed to get this dog till it was 3 weeks old. You had this dog since it was 3 weeks old. You had it in a diaper. And the dog's 6 months old now, and you're still feeding it. He's feeding it mashed, like if the dog was 3 weeks old. Yeah. So he's been feeding it like it was 3 weeks old till it's 6 months old. That's like feeding a baby kid, baby jar food until he's 10 years old, still eating out the jar food. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
Like that's so this puppy is mad declined in so right now I got her on straight so the first day I had her, right? I let her, she went in with the other puppy and she started busting down kibbles like she never ate before. And she got mad bloated. Like I was like, dude, this puppy she's gonna get right with me. And but what happened was she threw up everything that she ate that day. She threw it all up throughout the day. She kept throwing up to the end of the night. She threw up everything. So I was like, all right, I got something for her tomorrow morning. I went the next day and I put her on the raw diet, and I gave her straight raw meat mixed with coconut oil, mixed with olive oil, mixed with Quaker oats, and a little bit and I mashed that together, mixed it together, and I gave her that. And she bust that down, and for the 3 days I had her, she's already acting different, moving differently. I've seen her get up and go use the bathroom instead of just peeing on herself while she's laying down, like if she's in a diaper. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And I just so I contacted the dude. Anyways, point being, I contacted the dude. I was like, yo, why'd you pick this dog, yo? If it's a premature dog, and he was like, nah, all of them was small. They just gave it to me, blah blah blah. And I was like, so you got access to the rest of the puppies? And he was like, yo, yeah. He was like, I could give you, because I was like, yo, because at the end of the day, right, I'm gonna keep this dog with me, because I feel like if it's in the benefit of this dog for me to fix this dog real quick, yo. And but if I take her to a vet, I told the dude, and she's not able to produce like puppies and stuff like that. I want a fluffy, but I don't want it as just a pet. I want it to make more puppies so that I can have more fluffies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the dude was like, I got you, yo. I'll give you your money back, and I'll give you the other dog if you want that her sister from the same litter that's a different color. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? All right, cool. Then we'll if it's good with him, then it's good with me. If he's gonna be, you know what I mean, his word is bond, then I'm good. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, that's crazy though, right? For somebody to have a dog in a diaper and to do stupid stuff to a dog to keep it like it's a fucking, like if it's a accessory, bro. Like this isn't an
All right,
accessory for you to
Christos.
take around like it's jewelry. Like, you feel me?
Yeah, that's wild. Cause that's what happened
Yeah,
when we got these puppies. Like they was feeding them a certain kind of food. We switched their diet. It got them all the way right, Ozo. I said they chunky as hell. It don't even seem
Yeah,
like
man.
they
Hold on.
growing. They don't grow. Them bullies don't grow no taller.
Hold on,
They
let me
just stay short.
let me get back. I'll get right back to you, Book.
All right. All right, yeah, Christo said I'm going to try to do a rough draft for this trip report written out in depth, but I'm going to share it this weekend whenever True is live again. Couple of DMT trips over the months. Okay, yeah, that's cool. I still never got in the BGLs. Every time we get in the BGL experience, somebody kind of take us off. They kind of take us in another direction. In a whole nother direction. Why you ain't at work, Kristen? It's past Labor Day.
Just chilling at home, getting my mind right, enjoying life.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I can dig it. I said, dang, the last couple of weeks, yeah, it seemed like I only had one day off. One day off, and then I had to work on Memorial Day while everybody was at the house chilling. I had to go to work. I didn't have to, but I had to.
I'm babysitting my nephew. My parents have been in Dominican Republic. They in Canada right now.
What? Tell them to go by Big Chill House.
That's what I said. They didn't know what I was talking about.
They like, who is that? He's just gonna be popping up at nobody's house. Big Chill like, yeah, come on through. Come through, stop by. Pop up. Oh, yeah, what's the, oh, there go Christos right there. He just
tell us
in.
the trip story now. We don't want to wait.
Service animal, can it be used for the taxes mostly only? What's up, Christos?
Man, I'm digging through the crates cleaning,
Yo.
and I found a pair of Sean Johns.
Oh, dang.
The P. Diddy Pop Pops.
Man, we ain't doing no Diddy.
No Diddy.
No Diddy. Them Sean Johns probably worth 32 cents right now.
Man, I can't even sell them on the market no more.
Man, but no, Christos. Dang, my bad. What's up with you, man?
Yeah. Hey, I don't necessarily have a trip report right now to share, but I was appreciating the vibe y'all had up here, and I just wanted to mention I've been hearing a lot of good Salvia trip reports from this channel over the past couple months. I feel in the past, over the years, times I tuned in, Salvia was one of the things I didn't hear as much.
All right, let's try to, because we on like TikTok, so we got to use the other names, Sally.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, yeah, I can do that. I didn't realize you were still on TikTok. Doing that for sure.
Yeah,
I can
that's
say
what we
saliva
just,
too.
Yeah. Nah, we going.
Yeah, we only had I was gonna say we probably only had a couple people in the group come through that really mess with Salvia heavy.
Man, Sally. Golly.
Actually, we were talking about salvation. Would you all like to discuss it with me?
Yeah, Cryo, exactly. Sally, boyfriend in the chat right now. Con Blonde. Con Blonde.
Oh, Con?
Yeah, Con. He said they be scared. Okay. They be scared, Christos. That's Sally. No.
Okay, cool.
I mean, you see,
I didn't realize he did that.
Yeah. That was his thing. Like, you see people on videos take off running. You be like, I ain't doing that. They looking in the camera. They don't even know who they is. Which I understand that part, but nah, I ain't trying to be taking off running. It's not what I want to do. He said,
yeah, I don't like how you can have motor function still during it. Everything I've heard and seen, the potential, like that's when you really need to have a trip sitter, because you might start moving around. And we've seen the videos. Yeah. You lose complete motor function, consciousness.
And I never, like, that's one thing that I never could understand, because most of the people you seen that do it, it's not their first time. So why don't they be in the area to where they can just sit down? Just sit your ass. Sit down.
I don't know who it was, True, real quick, but one of the last trip reports I heard, he was referencing Sally. He was saying that there was like 2 trips simultaneously going on, where it was something like the lower portion of his body, down below his torso, was like his subconscious and his childhood memories and whatnot trip, while on the upper half of his torso was another trip going on. And I just found that very interesting, that theme we can see where the word liminal would come into play. So it'd be like the spaces in between. It really applies there quite literally. Being between those 2 separate trips, experiencing them at the same time. And I've had similar situations, not to that degree, but with DMT, where I'm laying in my bed and my blanket's covering like my legs, but with my eyes closed, I can see my blanket, and it's like a separation in space, basically. Like blanket was some type of nebula or whatever, and there's 2 separate spaces, one below where my blanket was covering my legs, and then above my torso was a different area in space. It was like looking down at my body from my head as if it was a giant open area, like as if your consciousness is micro and your whole body is a landscape. When you close your eyes, you can still see the room type thing. It's like that weird black ether overlay. You can literally see through your eyes, hence people saying sometimes they can't tell the difference between their eyes open or closed, and the type of state you can get into seeing your room physically with your eyes closed. And but anyway, very very cool, man.
Yeah, that's wild. Make me think of that Wild Wild West with Will Smith, with dude that was getting their heads chopped off, and then they'll come with that little thing and put it on their eyes. He put that little thing on them to where they could see the last vision they had, and then to show them like a picture of the last thing they saw. And I'm like, dang, it was something else. They just did that again. Dang. Oh, Creator, the movie Creator, where the lady came with the little thing and she put it on, and then it transferred their consciousness into this body over here, and then they able to talk to them for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds or something.
And it makes me think of dreams, True, how often when we recall dreams, we say it's like 2 places that we know in life kind of morphed together, where it's like you can literally turn a corner and then it's like a different area. If you literally took some type of program and merged 2 separate areas, and it became a whole new space, but still made out of those 2 spaces, that fluidity between the places into one place.
Yeah, that's crazy, because every time, like when you have those dreams, you know exactly where you at. It could be your aunt's house, but it just look different. It don't look the same, but you recognize it as that place over there. But it's like everything is like, it's just different. And it's like, why? Okay, but why do I still recognize it as my aunt's house and everything that was in my aunt's house over there? But that's not what I'm seeing. Like I
look like my aunt either. So she's aunt.
Yeah, that I don't know. That's dreams is wild, bro. I still dream every time I sleep, so I don't, I don't want to dream no more. I kind of want to sleep in just pitch blackness. Like, let me get me back to the darkness. Yeah, because every time you sleep, every time you dream when you sleep, it's like you don't get no rest. Because as soon as you close your eyes, you running around in a whole nother life, doing stuff in that life. And then you come back, then you wake up and you come back to this one and you do the same thing that you was doing in that one, running around. So it's like your mind, like, which I know it never sleeps, but it's like you never get no rest, bro. It's like, shit, wake up in the morning, still be tired. Hey, but Christos.
Yeah, what's good?
So did you have a couple of Dimitri experiences? Is what you were saying, or you haven't had them?
Yeah, yeah, I did, and it was a couple months back, and I believe I've shared some of it, but not too in depth. Just kind of like bits and pieces here and there, because there's kind of a lot to pull from. Hence why I was saying I want to actually write it out.
Yeah.
But I did one of or two of them. I actually was on a live stream a while back, and I came onto the live stream like right after when I'm sobered up, but like you're hyper focused and lucid. You almost feel like you're like speeding or in a flow state, and hyper aware when you come back from the experience, and you're all excited to share about it, especially when you got like a community of people that are live streaming and waiting to hear you give basically a after the fact, like literally after the fact report. But trying to think of some good stuff I could share off the bat that would be interesting here. A good thing to keep in mind was it was probably like over a year or two. It had been quite a while since I had dived in, and I had had a couple breakthroughs, but I definitely pushed the envelope for me personally with the last ones I did. And I'll say this, actually why I came up here as well. Something that really amazes me, I've heard from other people in certain ways, and I know I've experienced myself, would be as you're blasting off or breaking through, you can kind of get this cascading effect of complete randomness of symbols, signs, colors, shapes, from simple to complex and everything in between. Basically what seems to be happening at times is there's like a valve that opens up, and almost like a tidal wave of your subconscious comes spewing out, or like breaking through a dam basically. And that could be people going through the kaleidoscopic sacred geometry and whatnot. This comes through in a lot of different ways, and I'm not trying to say it's only all our subconscious or anything, but there seems to be that takeoff phase where whether you're seeing the sacred geometry or the dragons or the jesters or the snakes, like I was seeing like anime characters and such. It was like they were floating up from the ground as if like bubbles under the water or something. Like I was so disoriented where I was at this point in the trip. I was trying to get up my stairs and go lay down because I thought I could just sit down in my basement and I was going to be chilling, and I was kind of freaking out because I had like motor function still, but I felt drunk basically. Like I was in such a super dissociated state, and my ego took such a hit that I knew I was tripping. I knew what was going on, but I was ready, but it really smacked me more than I expected per se. Like before I went upstairs, I thought I was seeing spiders all over my basement. And then those spiders started to turn into what looked like as if my vision was a screen cracking. So the legs, you know,
Wow.
would turn. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's why there's so much to share about it. I would have to give the full thing in depth, like on a separate stream. But yeah, man.
Yeah, that's gonna
Give me one
that's gonna
second.
be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. Cause all that's why I be saying, like, sometimes, like, in my experiences, it feels like right now, as I'm looking out, I'm looking forward. But when I'm there, it's like I'm looking backwards. And then that, like, I always thought, you know, from your consciousness or whatever it is, from your brain to go through all these different places in order to make into sight. I be sometimes feeling like that's what we seeing. We're going through that travel right there of your brain sending the signals to your eyes in order to see sight. Like that thing right there.
Oh, yeah.
We in between that.
Yep,
Man,
I
that-
know exactly what you're talking about. Flipping upside down and the mirroring back and the whole process that goes on with our vision. But yeah, I didn't mean to cut off there.
No, go
but
ahead.
you know, I'm out by my dumpster on break at work, and all of a sudden I had someone from the building come out to throw something out. So I was just really making sure I wasn't saying anything too crazy, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Spiders were turning into like glass breaking. I was like, oh, okay, let me slow down
Yeah, I
here.
was throwing out some trash. He was talking about. He was talking about entities. He sees spirits.
Johnny lost his mind. He out there at the dumpster wilding out.
Like, man. But no, that's what I be thinking though, Christos, because like when you sleep, right? If you notice, if you can pay attention, like you can see when you wake up, you go through that same tunnel. You go through that same thing when you open your eyes and the vision starts back here. You go through that tunnel and end up, boom, you right back here. Like I started seeing that like when I wake up now.
Yeah, I've had that. I know what you mean. Before I say anything else, Drew, was Mr. Yozo or Mr. Ozo about to say something? I heard him about to speak.
No, I was just confirming that upside that visual thing, right? You know how mysticism and I guess mushrooms and out of body experiences and near death experiences and shamanistic shit, all that stuff is kind of related because you know the mushrooms and all that
We gotta
stuff
say
open up doors.
mushies. We gotta say mushies.
Oh,
Yeah, we gotta
mushies,
like
yeah.
use that off-brand name that we use that you know the community knows.
He meant at the top.
So yeah, they definitely unlock that stuff though. And what I mean is that the visual traveling like through that portal and opening might be that visual travel from between the eyesight. I don't know, the light of the eye traveling through into the mind. I don't know. But I have also seen like, you know, this is it's crazy, right? Like on a fever, when I was younger, I was upside down traveling on a line. I was stuck. My head felt like a magnetic force was holding me upside down, just like, you know, the reverse flip of the vision, I guess. I don't know, but I was traveling really fast, straight in a straight line, heading towards something that was moving, like, you know, like a spinal cord. Not a spinal cord. It was a pyramid, but it was moving like a spinal in an S shape, and it was a door at the top. But anyways, at the end of the day, is what I'm saying is that's so strange how all these things lead through that visual place from here to there. There's somewhere in between, and we exist somewhere in between there too. Like, you know what I mean? You were saying that,
Yeah,
like, you know, a book
yeah.
like that.
Remember
From,
Ozo?
you know what I mean? From microscopic to macro to micro. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. We used to say that, Ozo,
I
back
guess
in the
that might
days.
be part
Remember
of it.
we
You know what I
used
mean?
to
They
say
shrink. We shrink down energy. All the energy in our body shrinks down to a little spark. Like that same energy that you shock someone or whatever. That same little spark. I guess they measured it when someone dies. They could see the weight change of the electricity travel, and it goes down and it's grounded. I guess you can't destroy electricity. It only just travels.
Yeah. Takes new forms. But remember we used to say that when we didn't know what was going on the back of our eyelids. We thought the eyelids was creating all the visuals.
Yeah, it's like dark matter or something, man. The little the clockwork and all that stuff that's back there moving, the little swirls, the you know what I mean, the kaleidoscope stuff, all that stuff is like dark matter.
Yeah, the dark matter. And I think that's just the, I don't know if, you know, I don't want to call it consciousness or call it mind, but that's like that, what we talked about, that's like that primordial ooze, because that thing, it can transform into, it can take any form. It can be anything. It can and it's taking every form. And you shaping it into every form.
You know what I seen it as, I guess it is infinite potential, but it's like the Aurora Borealis type of effect that is inside of our mind. Our mind, it works like an Aurora Borealis, constantly producing infinite potential ideas, chicken form, making blueprints, doing all these things, and the shrooms allows you to tap into this area, and we could just see it unfold before us. Like, you feel me? Like, that's crazy that we've been using machinery that we never know how to use, our own mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Our own mind is machinery that we've never been taught how to use, and we just be walking around, driving around in number 2 all day, everywhere. Your whole time you had this car, you've been having it number 2.
We have been taught how to use it. That's the scary part, because the way that we're using it is the way they tell us that you should use it. This is how you're supposed to use it, like this.
Lies and deception. But they don't want to talk about vibration. They don't want to talk about, you feel me, how the all these, they had these bells everywhere that they took out. They used to heal people. That's where the churches used to always gather. People used to gather there under these bells, these bell towers and all these stuff. They took all those bells out, those giant bells. Now they're trying to make everything digital now with a speaker. You know what I'm saying? Because those bells, yeah, those bells before though used to vibrate and heal and stuff like that. They took all that stuff out.
Hey, remember that's what they used to do? They used to stand under and pull the rope and make the rope hit the bell. Now they just press a button over and over again.
Nobody even presses no button. It's just automated, does it? Never fail.
Hey, bro, just getting ready for slight lunch tomorrow. How's it been? It's been cool. Theo and Theo Root. But no, yeah, man. It's still, man, I don't know. It's the world. The world is pushed out in a way that's just it's contradicting. It's one big contradicting emotion or something that's going on. But I still love the I ain't gonna lie, bro. I love the visuals of when you off mushies. Like, it's the most amazing thing to me.
It don't even comprehend.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. That's why when you try to even explain it to people, if they ain't had the experience, they be, you know, looking at you like it's, what's up, Corey? Like it's rocket science.
I might celebrate today.
Hey, you know what's deep? Yesterday I was watching science. It was some science channel, and they were showing the plants.
This new dirt bike or whatever, this new 4-wheeler or whatever. I might just tap that bottle of Douce, man.
Can you hear me?
I don't know. One of y'all messed up. He said, "Did you hear about the Boeing?"
Can you hear me now? Check it.
You probably gotta go out and come back in. Starliner making noise. The what? The Starliner.
He said, "Microphone checker."
Did you hear about
1 2 checker?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Still nothing?
I don't know what you're talking about, Velvet. I don't know. I hear you. I was just trying to read the chat. So,
oh, gotcha.
Enjoy the travel.
Oh, it was they were showing plants, and they were showing like a microscope and showing like the energy going through the plants and stuff. And on the 4-ACO, the high dose, that's exactly what I saw. I looked at my girl. I was like, that's exactly the same shit.
If I definitely cracked that bottle of Douce, man. You know what I mean? Because they got the contusion in it.
I have that both of y'all. He said How long it's been sitting?
Oh, it's been sitting like 2 days. I think 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. Today, yesterday. Yep, 2 days.
Yeah. I know. I hear that, Charles.
Man.
So yeah, man.
Ha! I was throwing some bottles away, Book, and I saw the bottle of that good stuff that you had got.
Man, I'm gonna holler back at you.
All right, Ozo.
You posted if I tap that bottle though.
All right, tap in.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Said Ozo. Yeah. I'm just like, man. See, I knew it. But I'm gonna have to do it, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm hungry. I'm about to go eat. Man, no, I can't leave yet though. I can't leave yet because Joe Crow. I know we was talking about something the other day, Joe Crow. We didn't get to finish. I forgot what it was.
Oh, I don't remember, but if Charles wanted to keep talking about those plants, it sounds like a lot of people see the energy, and it almost, to me, sounds like you're slipping into like the astral realm or like a higher dimension, and that's why you're able to see. Sounds like the fifth dimension to me, where you're able to see like people's energy. Like your do you guys see like people's toric field around their bodies too? Have you seen that, Charles?
I haven't seen the toroidal field around people. But I did see one strange one. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to quickly say maybe it's because no one has enough energy to make one. I don't know. But go ahead.
That could be. I was gonna say one time after a journey, I had to fly out, so I was at the airport, and I can see like everybody's like bone structure through their body. It was like I saw them, but it was almost like a silhouette, and I could just see like the bones and the muscles and everything like underneath, just moving everybody. It looked like almost like the Total Recall, when he went behind the screen, but I didn't just see bone. I saw it was much more like detailed of the structure, like past the skin. That was kind of a trippy journey.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
True, you better go get you a peanut butter jelly sandwich and come back. You said you were going to stream all day.
Right? Yeah. Okay. You're right. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna just let it go. Just give me a minute.
Go boil you some ramen noodles.
Just be careful what y'all talk about. Okay. In this little time. No
cussing and swearing.
Yeah. You don't gotta swear. No cussing and swearing a lot. And we using mushies, Lucy, and you already know.
All the acronyms.
Yeah. Basically. But all right. Give me a minute.
Definitely don't say you're gonna smoke anything.
Yeah, and definitely do not come on.
Brisket. Wild. I'm gonna smoke a brisket.
Do not come on smoking, okay? Because we on TikTok, so do not do that.
Visual wise guy.
And if you do, I'ma boot you indefinitely for playing.
You think true?
No, you're not.
True. Do you think you're doing this?
I'm serious because I'm asking, and if you actually do it and I get banned, I'm banning you. That's all I'm saying. So if I get banned for anybody doing anything that I say, okay, this is what we can't do, and you do it, I'm banning you. Like I ain't playing no more. Forget that.
Yeah, that's serious.
Messing it up for everybody else.
Just warn people. Tell them like change the name of the chat to like live or something when we live. Yeah, we could do that.
Nah, we already know. All we gotta do is just let each other know. Because every time we let each other know, everybody we do it. We be cool. Like we don't a lot of stuff we do. We don't even really need to do. It's like better to have it a little clean for other people out there that want to listen without hearing a gang of cursing and cursing and cursing and cursing and cursing like we can't use other words. If I can do it, and this is my channel, I know everybody else can do
It's
it.
true. It's true.
Yeah, I freaking forgot how to curse. Heck.
Hey yo, Red Wing.
But I'll be right back. Let me go grab something to eat
there?
real fast.
All right, but
I don't know if you feel there, Red Wing, but multiple parts of your body generate that toroidal field. Like your heart do it automatically, your brain does it, like your body got one. It automatically like it'll generate that toroidal field. Like some people call it like versions of it, the aura, or some people like, hey, I felt you coming. It's like that bubble around them is always there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm surprised because like Charles was saying about the plants, like we wouldn't see that with us or was it Oz or Ozar or I don't
Ozo.
I forget his name, but he was talking about the bells in the churches, how they now I mean if you've ever been in a cathedral, a friend of mine, she goes down and she sings in a church a lot in Boston, and it's one of the old giant cathedrals. And she says, you know, when they start playing that pipe organ, she said it's unbelievable. You know, the vibrations. You know, she said it's like you're bathing in sound. You know, and you know every church has a steeple, so where they pulling down the like electromagnetic energy from the sky, you know, because they have those videos of people, you know, they take like a copper wire and they run it up into the sky with a drone, and then they test how much electricity's on it, and it's like I think it's every 6 feet, the voltage goes up, you know, so when you hit about as high as the trees, if you even notice trees at the top, you know, they always spread out. Looks like lightning. There's obviously something going on up there. You know, it gives them their life.
Yeah, look at
I was wondering.
the form of your hands when you make a prayer, when you put your two hands together, like in prayer or namaskaram. Looks like a steeple or looks like an antenna. And then open your hand, receiving right next to each other. They make this like concave surface.
Hey, that's
what I
funny.
was wondering.
We've got these two energies. You could call it the sun side, the moon side. You could call it masculine and feminine. We've got these two energies within us, but sometimes we get too into one side of that and disregard the other.
Yeah.
You know what it also kind of reminded me of a little bit when you were singing that Red Wing is Tesla towers. You know, because I never knew about the measurement. That would make sense. The higher the Tesla tower, you said every 6 inches or 6 feet, it goes up so many amperes or whatever. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a bunch of cool videos on YouTube about it. Like if forget the name of it, some guy, he made an engine that ran off of the air. You know, he just put it outside, and the higher up you bring it, the faster it spins.
Yeah.
I forget the name of it.
Is that like a hydro?
And it's so funny because, well, the hydro's like water, but you know, it's almost similar. There's free flowing energy everywhere. It's just you got to go a little higher. It's like with the old Zeppelins, you know. Supposedly, the engines they had radon engines in there, and the exhaust of the engine was helium. So they would just pump the exhaust inside of the balloon, and they would stay up there all day. And now, if those were still around today, they would run off of solar panels and batteries, and it would be almost, you know, there would be no fuel. It would just be free once you installed it, right? and all the tops of the skyscrapers, that's why they started building the skyscrapers, is because those were landings, like the Empire State Building, that was a landing for the giant blimps. And they think why a lot of the old city photographs, why the skies have no clouds, is because they think a lot of them, they cropped out all the Zeppelins. Had anyone seen that movie, that old movie Finding Nemo? Not to be confused with Little Nemo, but it was Finding Nemo Adventures in Slumberland. And
Yeah,
it
the
was
old
like a
animation.
Japanese. Yep.
Yep.
Remember that? It
Yeah.
was like 1920, and the boy, like in the movie, he was like in a flying Zeppelin, right? And I think his bed was like flying, or no, they came and got him in a flying Zeppelin and then took him off into like the sky. And then he ended up wherever, like in that Slumberland, to meet the king. And like I read about how in 1910, all the cars in New York City were electric. And then supposedly, Henry Ford came in with a gasoline engine car, and it was cheaper to buy. So everyone just went out and bought it. But it was like, we were already running electric on everything. And then like we went backwards. It don't make no sense.
Well, I thought he made the thing in 1910. I thought like the Model T or Henry Ford made it in 1910. You know what I mean? And then with the church part, if I'm not mistaken, they used to design and architect the buildings to where if you go in there, the sound bounces off or it resonates in a certain way to where you feel like you're being bathed in these frequencies, or you're being, you know what I mean? Like the setup of the architecture of the building allows for the sounds to bounce around and kind of do the like geometric stuff, you know what I mean? To where it's like, oh, we're both doing it. It's like how you, when somebody say when two people come together, it's more powerful, and a third person comes, you know what I mean? Like some of that nature. It's like an amplification building or amplification structure kind of thing. You got all these people kind of around the same resonance, and they're using that building and the stuff to amplify it. That's why everybody kind of, oh, glory, glory, glory. You got everybody doing the stumping. You got the organs. If you ever notice when you're in a church, it seems like the organist is trying to compliment the preacher. Thou shalt not do this. And then the organ in the background like, dude.
Oh yeah,
Like
it's a wonderful
Yeah.
oratory adventure. And then you put a little bit of energy, and then you start to release your own DNT, and you like, hey, next level. Throwing a little bit of breathing during the
prayer hands, with the prayer hands, what Shiva was talking about, it's the same thing. Your mind is sending out that, what's the name? People be like, well, prayer don't do nothing. Prayer, it's like having a phone and the signal ain't getting there. Like once you put your hands together, it forms that antenna. Whether you're praying from your heart and you connecting your thumbs to your heart, or you're bowing your head and you connecting your thumbs to your third eye, it shoots down your thumb like a channel, and it uses the fingers. It's like a phew, and it comes out of the fingers and it gets projected out to there. It's the same way how like our gut biome would be like, hey, we're hungry. Like they're sending a signal out, and depending on how strong that signal is, you know what I mean? People call it a craving or something, or you know what I mean? Something like of that nature. I didn't mean to cut y'all off, but I wanted to reflect on that part.
Yeah, no, what's funny, when I spoke to Dimitri that one time, and Dimitri was telling me how everything is sound, and I was like scratching my head going, and then I was sitting yogi style, and then it had me like start making this weird like whistle tone, and I had my hands together, and like I could feel my bones vibrating like a tuning fork. It's funny since then, because that was 2 years ago. I keep like learning more about what he was telling me in that at that time. And so when he was telling me everything was sound, and I didn't know what he meant. I came across this kid's video. This guy who teaches how the periodic table, and even Terrence Howard was talking about. He brought up
Hey Charles,
what's it, Walter?
when you making a lot
Walter.
of noise, you gotta mute your microphone because it's like going way over his head, and like it's like it's messing up ears. My bad. Go ahead, Crow. It's just you couldn't hear over that.
Oh, yeah, no, just I think I was telling you, or we might have talked about this the other day, but I saw that video. I'll try to post it on the Discord. The guy had a bunch of people in an auditorium, and he said each element on the periodic table makes a sound. And if you look at what Terrence Howard was talking about, he brought up what was it, Walter Russell. He said Walter Russell, he drew the periodic table not in a big square, in a bunch of blocks. He drew it as a harmonic wave, a sound wave, which is just like trying to draw the top of the ocean, right? Just like a wave. And he said like if iron, like lead and gold is right next to each other, like on the curve. Well, this guy, he said, this is the vibration iron makes. It makes 332 vibrations per second. So this is the note on the keyboard it makes. This is 333 vibrations per second. And then he hit the key on the piano, and he goes, this is iron, this is gold, and I was like, oh my God, that's what he was talking about. You can, and then he was like playing songs. He's like, this is helium. It's like a melody, and this other, I have to post a video because I don't know if I'm conveying it correctly. I don't know.
Yeah, if you
But
send
it was neat
send it to me.
to understand.
Red Crow, just send it to me. Then I can play parts of it.
It's like when you drop a pebble in the water. What shapes do we see?
Waves, yeah.
And then in a still pond or a still, you can get it. You can kind of do this with a smaller container. If you're going to fill up the container with water and let it come to rest, and then drop something into it, unless you drop it completely in the center and the container is a perfect circle, then you're going to get these interference patterns. So that's kind of a vision of those nodal points or those interference patterns where things look like they're interacting with each other, but they were just bounced. The one wave is just bouncing off of the sides of the thing and then coming back upon itself.
Yeah, it's wild.
And
like the chi
the
energy.
Terrence Howard stuff. What's that?
No, I was just saying, like the chi energy. Have you seen the Shaolin monks? They weight lift with I don't know how to properly say this. I guess the proper medical term would be their testicles. They lift weights with their testicles. That would be the medical term. This is real. And they say it increases their chi energy. Have you seen the videos of that? No, I'm not lying. It's real.
I heard something about that. But yeah, that's
Oh, it's wild.
Yeah, since ki, chi, and prana are all the same word, all the same view of this energy. So if you ever hear ki or chi or prana, they're all talking about the same thing. And we can.
Oh yeah.
We can use that life force energy to enhance or degrade our own energy in whatever ways we see fit. Like somebody working out only their, working out with a specific part of their body, they're going to influence that part of the body. Like
Hey, Red,
sitting in meditation, or sitting breathing, or lifting weights with different parts of your body is going to influence that part of your body. And also, since the what's called chakras, there's some distortion that we've got. Somebody's making some sound. Since our chakras, the 7 main chakras, are also linked with our endocrine glands, like red being linked with our adrenals, we can start to influence this tree that's within us, this band of energy that we're all experiencing. So like the throat is blue, the heart is green, and there's certain endocrine glands that are linked with that, which are also, so endocrine is the lymphatic system. Your thyroid would be in your neck, or your
if I gotta
hypothalamus.
If I gotta tie weights to my genitals to get chi, I don't want it. I'm cool. Y'all keep it.
Well, it's like putting weights on your legs when you're jogging.
I know.
Yeah, no, it was something to do with increasing the blood flow at the bottom of the spine or something like that. That's why they were actually doing it. So I wonder if like just some good exercise would do the same thing. I don't know.
Or doing the butterfly. You ever do the butterfly? Like you sit with your leg, you sit on the ground with your feet touching each other. Hold your feet and then swing your knees.
Yeah,
that's
like
kind
in
of
gym
doing the
class,
same thing
like-
without a strenuous physical activity.
Hey, Red Wing, to add on too, bro, that same theory that you was talking about, like the elements, when you strike them, they may resonate with a note or a certain cyclical frequency, and that converts into like a note or a color. That same thing applies to like how Shiva was talking with the body too. Like your liver attunes itself to like a certain frequency, or it secretes a certain color. All of the chakras, or all of the, I'm gonna say chakras, exactly what he said, like the endocrine system, the glands, they do like certain secretions. Or people that have certain correlations, like, hey, if I wear green, that may attune this part of my body. If I wear yellow, it may attune this part of my body. And from what I've been finding out, they correlated like all across the board, to where Sunday you should wear this. I ain't gonna say it's a should, but in certain systems, like you should wear this color because it'll amplify this, or this organ is mostly what's the name on this day, or this element is mostly amplified on this day. So like they are correlated all over the place. My bad. They're correlated all over the place, kind of thing. Where you can correlate it with the self, the chakras, the outside, the inside. You know what I mean? It seems like it's a bunch of tuning and converting. Like that same sound makes a light. That same light makes a shape. It's not like a sequence, but you know what I mean? They all kind of look like different languages, just saying the same thing.
Yeah, UL said helium has a frequency just like all the
Yeah,
other atoms. Walter Russell was
I
trying
just
to show
found that
people.
video.
Yeah, you can share it to me, and
Yeah, how do I do it?
or you can just post it in the general.
Yeah, I'll do that.
As you're doing that, Red Wing Crow. But one thing that I found fascinating on the story that you were going over was the gentleman who was being displayed the sound. This is the sound of gold, sound of nickel, palladium, whatever. Like just being in the sound and the vibration, like that's dope. I wonder if too, like if you have like a certain like aversion to a sound of an element, you know, like say if you're like, because some people are allergic to silver or gold for that matter. So I wonder if the sound, the auditory would lend any hints to that, you know? And I guess on a bigger scale, I'm kind of thinking, it just made me think back when I was younger, they had to do this test on my back to see what I was allergic to. So it was like 40 different samples they did on my back. Come to find out I was allergic to everything, milk, pizza, the whole nine. But I'm thinking in the future, like if they can do something like that with your younger, but more on an auditory sense, find out if you might be definitely allergic to something.
Huh? Yeah. No, I had heard that they are using like music to help people who have dementia gain their memory back.
Yeah.
And they like bring them into like a hospital room and they play music for them for like 30 minutes and I'm like, why don't they just have them do that 3 times a day at home every day? Like, why do they need to come? We're just raking more money out of them.
It's like you
gotta go to a hospital to listen to music.
Playing that music
Yeah,
that they used to listen to. It's like it's almost like when you listen to a song that you ain't heard in a long time, or when you was young, and it bring back your young memories and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it was a Black Mirror episode like this.
Man.
Well, like I had heard the monks. Now keep in mind on that video that the guy's teaching children, so it's like for like 3rd graders. Okay, so just it's not for adults. So it's very simple, very basic. And he's like, it reminds me, he's like dressed in like a really colorful suit. It's really, but I guess he's making his point.
You posted it in the general?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's real bright. It's like all colors.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm about to see if I can I'm about to pull it up right now. It's 14 minutes. It's like 14 minutes. I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah. That's cool though, if I can find it. If I can find it on here. Man, come on now. Y'all got me doing all that stuff. All that. For what? What the hell? Man, how do you do that? Oh no, I'm trying to see why won't it let me post it? Yeah, no, I was no, I'm just was trying to copy and paste it in the because I got to reach all the way over here just to try to type it in. The periodic table.
There's only 12 of them, the 12 harmonics. And like what he's showing in that is, and what that Walter Russell was talking about, is like just everything is coming from this sound wave, from a harmonic wave. And there's like only You know, you were talking about allergies. I know with cancer, all you have to do is match this.
Hold on, y'all.
They would just, you know, they would wash them out of their body later, and it wouldn't hurt. Or I guess.
Oh wow, I got it.
Yeah.
Played it. Dang. Played it. That doctor performed brain surgery while the patient played the violin. Oh my goodness. I don't remember that Velvet Wind, but I got this is it right here, Crow. If you want to watch it real fast, I just shared it so I could play it on the tube, you know, for educational purposes. Fair use.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
Can I see it?
I can see it. You got it paused. It's the dude in the funny colored suit.
The rainbow suit.
Mm-hmm. He looked like he about to tell you about government grants.
Man, it's Uncle Sam wants.
Ben Crow know who I'm talking about.
You said Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam wants you.
Yeah, it's like Elton John's son that you don't know about.
Man, I'm about to play it right now, so I can see what he's talking about. Let's see, y'all. Fair use YouTube.
Hey fellas, how we doing tonight? My name's Roy, Roy G. Biv. The
Will
G
I
stands
only
for
see
Gary.
it in YouTube,
And,
or will we
I like
see
colors,
it in here too?
But there's a problem
You
with
see it in Discord. It'll show that I'm sharing a video.
Oh, okay.
Let's just say watch together.
Yeah, watch together.
Oh yeah, yeah, there it is.
Fair use YouTube.
Yeah, I don't
fair
remember
use.
it being.
They don't make sound. And as much as I love light and colors, I also love sound and music. So what if there was a way to turn light into sound? Well, it might actually not be that crazy of an idea, because light and sound are both waves. The trouble, though, is that the frequency of light waves are way too fast for us to hear. And that makes me really sad. But what if
That
there was
makes
a way
me
to
really
turn the frequencies
sad.
of light into music that we could hear? Well, it turns out there's actually a scientific instrument that does exactly this. And I happen to have one with me. Now, this device scales the
Man.
frequencies of visible light, which we see as
Nah.
different colors,
What?
into musical
Oh, no, I'm
pitches that we
saying
see
that
that we hear as
thing
different
that he
musical
got.
notes.
It's look
So if I
like
start
the
from
little
red
toy
light,
when
which
we
has
was
the lowest
kids.
frequency, and go to violet light, which has the highest frequency, we can hear the pitch of the notes increase.
Oh yeah. The
Splendid.
xylophone.
Now, another cool thing about the
Yeah, that was
spectrum
my
of
first
visible light is
skateboard.
that violet light is roughly
I
double
had
the
one with
frequency
wheels on.
of red
Yeah,
light.
yeah.
And in music, one doubling of
Yeah,
frequency
with the
corresponds to an
wheels.
octave, or this interval.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that means that these kids' toys, these rainbow xylophones, as long as they go from red to violet within the span of an octave, are actually a physically accurate mapping of the visible light spectrum onto musical notes, which I think is just marvelous. And this mapping allows us to convert a series of colors into a melody. So here's a random sequence of colors that I came up with, and it actually makes this melody. Seems some of you guys may recognize that melody. It's by Beethoven. And you know, so we can create like any melody we want with these. There's really infinite possibilities.
Mr. Biv, I have a question.
Oh, yes, Kylie, go ahead. And please, call me Roy. Mr. Biv is my father's name.
Okay, Roy. Well, I was wondering.
Hey, Mr. Roy, I also had a question.
Hold on, Evan. Let's let Kylie ask her question first. Okay, she raised her hand first. Sorry, Kylie, what were you saying?
Well, all the stuff about hearing light is cool, but what does any of this have to do with
It's all
chemistry?
an act.
Oh, that's a wonderful question, Kylie. Thank you for asking.
Yeah,
So I've been
it's
talking
all
about
an
light
act.
for
Like
who
I
knows
said,
how
he
long.
must have
And
like second
this idea of
graders
hearing,
there
you know,
or
this is
something.
all building towards hearing the elements and what do they sound like. And the elements actually make light. And in order to explain how they make light, I'm going to enlist the help of a good friend who some of you may remember, Spectroscopy Steve. Spectroscopy Steve is back from a vacation in New Mexico where he was up to some fun experiments with helium. He built this device called a cathode ray tube by filling a tube with helium gas and running an electric current through it. Steve, could you show us what you made? Thanks, Steve. So when Steve passes electricity through this helium, the helium absorbs energy and then it releases that energy as light. And this is actually the same technology that lights up those signs outside of restaurants.
Oh,
Wait,
wow.
like the ones outside of pizza places?
Yes, Kylie,
Yeah,
exactly.
looks
And
like
that's actually a really good
sign, don't
segue
it?
into explaining
My
how helium
icon.
produces this light. Because in a lot of ways, a helium atom is kind of like a pizza. You've got your positively charged nucleus in the middle and your negative electrons around it. And these electrons like to stay really close to the nucleus in the lowest energy level. That's where they're most stable. But when Steve adds energy in the form of electricity, he can cause one of the electrons to absorb energy and go into a higher energy level. And it might chill out here for a while, but eventually it's going to want to relax down to the lower energy state. And the cool part is that when it does this, it releases that energy as light that we can see. And this is exactly how those neon signs outside of pizza places work. In fact, neon is just another gas just like helium.
Oh, wow.
That's so cool.
Pizza.
That happens when you put the mushrooms on the mushies on the pizza.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
get them spectrums of colors and stuff, them neon colors.
Yo, pepperoni go to the next level.
Man.
Yeah.
We were
Man, I
talking
love
about the electrons
pepperoni.
and the pepperonis and the barbecue chicken, and the sauce. Man, I am hungry. Do you want to go to lunch?
Okay, I feel like I lost you guys a little bit with the pizza thing, so let's
Fair
connect this back to
use,
sound, right?
YouTube.
So we know how to turn light into sound, and now we know that elements make light. So what if we turn an element's light into sound? So here's that glowing helium tube, and this is what it sounds like.
What's up, Theo?
It's kind of pretty, right?
Wait, why
What
don't
up,
we
brother?
hear notes? I only see one color, so shouldn't we only hear one?
Just watching this video.
That's an excellent question,
Red
Kylie.
Wing
Actually,
shared
this
with
single
us.
sort of violety color that we see is actually the result of all of the individual
what?
frequencies that helium emits
Watching
blending
this
together into a
YouTube
coherent
video
color. And we could actually
about
break this
colors
down and
and
listen to
sound.
each of these lines individually as a melody.
It's an illusion.
Yeah, what the
And these are the
hell?
7 discrete lines that helium emits in the visible spectrum, but we could also listen to other elements. So, for example, hydrogen only has 4 prominent lines in the visible spectrum, so it makes a much simpler chord.
Oh my God! Wait, hold on. That sound like that
Oxygen,
one.
on the other hand, has a few more notes, about 187.
Dang, who be
So it's
playing
full
that?
spectrum.
That
But we can also
doom,
listen to other
doom,
elements. So,
doom,
for example, hydrogen only has 4 prominent lines in the visible spectrum, so it makes a much simpler chord.
Like NBC or somebody.
Yeah, it's one of them. Wow.
Oxygen,
That's
on the other
trippy.
hand,
I
has
know
a few
they're
more
all-
notes, about 187. So it sounds a little bit
They're
messier.
probably
and
doing it to hypnotize us, hypnotize our brains.
Something,
The particular
but
correlation of each tone with said chakra.
but if
they're
they
using
play
to
it, that's
manipulate.
probably what attracts you to the
Yeah, that's what I'm
the
saying.
station or something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Was it NBC? Yeah, no, you're like the old.
Hey, cause I don't know, I think so, but I know because my girl should be watching Roku a lot, and I always like kind of trip out. It always go to this part where it say, "We'll be right back," and it go on for like 2 minutes, right? But then it be playing like this, this weird little anthem or whatever, and it does it every time. And I go, why don't they just put on a commercial? And it's like, what if it's a bigger agenda behind that? It's like that sound is because you don't change the TV. You just let it play through and you just look at that "I'll be right back" for 2 minutes.
Maybe they're doing some gamma
Well, the TV
brainwave.
Some gamma brain waves.
kind of noisier.
Roy, I have another question. What about molecules with more than one element? I know that water is made of hydrogen and oxygen, so if we combine the sound of hydrogen with oxygen.
Whoa! Hey,
That's deep right there.
That's that. The dang, what alien movie was that? Way back in the days, when they used to shoot the beam and shit, the giant. I think it's dang man, when the War of the Worlds, like the first one. That's what that sound like the alien beam, and when it shot the beam out his eye. That's man, bro.
Oh yeah, it does give the sound effect book. It's a certain instrument that does that, like woo woo. They usually use it in scary movies and stuff, but yeah, it's a lot of these tones are similar to that. Old school, yeah.
Excellent idea, but actually, when we mix elements together, they
probably
actually
got
form
a
chemical
keyboard.
bonds and share their electrons. So the spectra of complete.
You said they probably what, Theo?
If you just listen to like sounds, if you had a team of people who know a lot about culture and are mad intuitive, like artists and stuff, they could probably listen to enough sounds to come up with like some type of dictionary of sound, how it affects us.
Yeah, and what it do to us. But because they already did that, probably. Theo. They got a team. That's what. Hey, use this right here. I guarantee you, they
Like,
gonna
use
tune
this
in.
tone, this interval to dun dun. Watch.
Yeah.
Watch how
Hey,
that goes.
companies. Yeah, look, hey, companies are spending billions of dollars to. So you better believe. Not untouched. They've researched it all.
You better believe it, bro.
Yeah, they tried it all.
They tried
Completely changed.
pizza. They tried
Hot dogs, glizzies. They tried glizzies.
Really, things get way more complicated, and that's a topic for another day.
Okay, well, what if both elements in the molecule are the same? Like, what does it sound like when two helium atoms come together to form a bond?
But I started to
Well,
notice some
helium
different
is
things.
kind
I
of a
don't even
bit
know how to
different. It
say
actually
it.
doesn't
Like,
really
I'm
form
starting to
chemical
see
bonds.
music
It
is
really
magic.
just likes to hang out. It's
It is.
It's a
I'm learning
noble gas,
guitar
so,
and
which
stuff.
means that
I'm
it really
just noticing
likes
about
to
culture,
be alone,
reality,
hang out like it is.
music,
Doesn't helium
physics.
get lonely all by itself?
Something's going
Well,
on.
just because helium doesn't form
More on
chemical
that
bonds
later.
in the same way that other elements do, it doesn't mean
So
it gets
I figured it
lonely. I
out.
mean, helium atoms like to hang out in groups all the time, and sometimes they even have helium dance parties.
What's a
But we know a lot more
dance
than we
party?
think we know.
Oh,
That's
Kylie,
for
you've
sure.
never been to a
Exactly.
helium dance party? They're really something. That's a shame.
I gotta hear
Actually,
this.
I think there's one going on
A
right now. We
helium
should,
dance
here, let me
party.
show you. But fair warning, you should buckle your seatbelts because things are about to get elemental.
I'll be right back.
All right, Theo. What the heck, man? That's why life, see, is an orchestrated symphony. Life is an orchestrated symphony. Oh, thanks for sharing that, Red Wing. Y'all gotta go catch the rest of that, y'all. That is crazy, man. That is wild. Oh dang! Okay, yeah, I did the wrong one.
No. Dimitri showed us that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was wild. It's playing a whole melody. But it seemed like that's what life is doing though, Crow. Like it's playing this melody. It's like a symphonic orchestra of life. Like DMT Circus. Crow, he
Yeah.
said Christo said it sounded like a
And I-
DMT circus.
Yeah, no, I know, right?
Yeah, carousel.
I had heard once this guy had an NDE, and he said he went up and he met God, and God told him that all of us are different, and like he likes us the way we like that favorite song on an album or a vinyl, where
Yeah.
you play it so many times that like it scratches the song.
Yeah.
Like you can physically see how much you played the song, and I was like, that was a pretty good metaphor.
A near-death
then,
experience.
Yeah. And then when my buddy had his during COVID, he got put on that ventilator, and he said he met God. He said God was like 12 feet tall, and his face was, he didn't have a face, it was light. It was just like bright light. And when I met Dimitri that one time, and he told me everything is sound, vibration, he like, and then he was showing, he had me do that tone thing. He kind of showed me, like, I don't know if we can turn into that somehow. Like, eventually that's where we're going to go. We're going to start vibrating so fast that, like, we turn to light. Because we're going to get so much more, I guess, lighter.
Yeah.
Like, I guess that works in more than one way, right?
The density
And then,
just
like,
increases.
yes, the density increases, but yet, like, physically, wouldn't you weigh less? But then there'd be more, or would you weigh more?
Right, because how much does a photon weigh? You know, I can put my hand
I don't know.
out in the light, and I can feel the resonance of it when it's hitting my body. But if you compact light, it becomes more clear and more translucent, more able to shine through and reflect the things that are being reflected to it.
Yep. And then also during that, he showed me our DNA. Our DNA, it looks like a sound pattern. It's like everything is sound. So, like, going into those cathedrals with those pipe organs, that's fixing, you know, it's like healing your body, or it's like rearranging it or something. But when I first came back, the only thing I could make sense of was like Dragon Ball Z, you know, going Super Saiyan. But they're like screaming, right? They're screaming to like up their vibration, to up their power. And then they get to that point where they just burst into light. And, you know, it's like in this cartoon, so people don't think it's real. But it could be, you know, a lot. It could be closer to reality than what we know. That's like the thing. That's the thing they don't want us to find out about. That's what it was like trying to convey to me. Like, they don't want you to find out about this, because if you do, like, they're done. Like, they won't be able to control you once you get to that state. You know? I don't know.
Well, that's what I was referring to when I said there's multiple different ways within our own body to increase perceptively our energy. Somebody does it through singing, somebody does it through dancing, somebody does it through hanging things on their lower parts, somebody does a handstand, somebody does it through cooking. And so the way that we're using our focus, our concentration, and also being receptive in the moment will help us to find those paths of least resistance within ourselves. Now, some of the temples, some of the churches are built in a specific geometric way that you don't have to pray in there. You just simply exist in that. You walk through it, you exist, can sit down. And because of the geometry of that place, then it has a specific resonance within what we're calling our body. So, like, because our body is made up of this geometry, of this transmission or conversation through the different parts, like my heart's talking to my lungs are talking to my hand, and all these things kind of have this feedback loop. Because for us to get a sense of our location, that just like bats flying through with the echolocation to see things out where they can't really see them, to feel things out where they can't really, so we kind of tend to find the path of least resistance.
Yeah. Oh, it's wild, man.
You know, going back to what
Oh,
you were
it's
saying Ray, about the sound signatures, piggybacking on. There's also, like, I was thinking, like, I wonder what our sound signature is. Now there was this device that someone developed where they were able to had these two little clips on it, and they were able to connect it to, let me just say, the ancient fruit. I prefer that over the mushies, but they would connect it to the fruit, and boom, they would get the pulses of the energy, hence the creation of the ancient fruit. So I'm wondering, in that experiment too, clip something to our fingers, like doop doop, the pulse to our fingers to get our pulse to see what we would sound like. I think that'd be interesting.
Well, you know what just popped into my thought. I don't know if you know that artist David Coe. He was, I don't know how to say his last name, but he was in that show Beef. He was the cousin that was like stealing. He was like he was always like stealing shit.
The cousin with the long
And,
hair that was always locked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, and he was always smoking weed and everything. Yeah. And so he was telling a story on JRE, I think, or maybe it was just because he has a YouTube channel too. But he was telling a story that he was eating some mushroom pizzas, and he said that it told him that Asian people some of their DNA comes from whatever this being was he was talking to. And he said, and Dave said, well, I said, well, prove it. And he goes, okay. He goes, you know how when you were born, you had a big blue butt? And David said, he goes, I knew exactly what he was talking about. He said something like 80% of Asian people, when they're born, they have a blue spot on their butt, and it just looks like the circulation isn't there. And then he found a picture of a kid, and it's like on the lower back. So, but it looked like blue. It looked blue. And I was like, no way. Like, this is real? And yeah, he said, like,
Hey, a couple of my kids came out like that with the
So there's Zen. That's why I'm blown back right now that I'm
really? Nah.
Yeah. Swear business.
Really?
I always thought it was like
And,
a birthmark or something.
But yes, that's what they call it. They call it the blue birthmark or something like that. And then it goes away, right? It goes away.
Yeah.
But he never, doctors, they don't really know what to make of it. They'll say it's a DNA thing, or they don't know why. Oh, it's this reason, that reason. But that's what, I'm just telling you what I heard. Okay. I didn't even know about this, until it happened. The only thing I know about birthmarks is there was this doctor in India.
You just went out. It's like it was this
doctor in India.
If they died in a certain way, say they got shot in a battle or something, and it went through, one side of the head into the other side, sometimes they'll have like birthmarks. Like they'll have a red mark on one side of the head and then on the other. I think he was putting them in
like
under
almost
hypnosis and asking them.
Like it was something from a past life, basically.
Yes.
That would be
wow. And some of them had stomach, just wherever the birthmarks. Some had them, but he said the doctor found like 3,000 cases of these birthmarks, and then them talking about how they got it when they were under hypnosis, which was wild. I mean, does it prove anything? No, I mean, not really, but it's an interesting idea because I mean they don't. I don't know.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's wild though.
I heard I don't know where I heard that from, but I had heard somebody talking about that. It's like it was like they past life that they lived, and something happened to that side of them, or yeah, it was crazy.
It is dope. I got a tap though from Red Wing.
All right, then.
All right, guys. I think I got to go to work soon, anyways. But
oh yeah,
this was a good talk, I guess.
It always is.
It is wise, man. Like, no, it's funny though. Like you were saying, sometimes if you just listen to people, and I do it, and we all do it, just because we're around it so much. But like if you listen to people where they just constantly swear and they don't even mean to do it, it's like, you're right, True. I mean, we can come up with better words than that. We're like trying to convey emotion, but it's like there's got to be better words than just the few we have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild because
I mean, there's so many words.
Like when I be having conversations with some people, they just don't be swearing at all, and I'll be like, dang, that's kind of it is lit. Like we'll be on here talking, they won't even use no type of curse words, like at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. All right. You hang out, you can see your grandmother or something. They definitely don't do it.
Yeah.
The older generation.
Yeah, especially
don't,
like
don't
us.
Be talking like that.
Like especially us when we talk to like our parents or or one of the older folks, we don't even use them words.
Yeah, no, I know, and you almost have to be around them sometimes just so they can catch you doing it, so you can catch yourself, doing it. Because I mean, especially like if you work with people and a lot of them do it, or you're around people who do it a lot.
Yeah, that's another place we don't really do it at is work. You don't swear as often at work.
Yeah, I did that once. I was dropping F-bombs right in front of my boss, and I was like, oh geez, why did I just do that? Wrong place, but like, you don't notice it as much until it matters, I guess.
It'd be wild because I'm gonna tell you, sometimes when you like trying to explain like a psychedelic experience, it's like you don't have no choice but to curse because you still be in like this weird place of amazement, and it just, you don't do it on purpose. It just come out like that. It just come out like that.
You know how like in the old like if you look at like Indian pictures of like the old goddess of like I can't remember the one guy. He's like blue. His skin looks blue, but then at the same time he's like shining light. And
is that Krishna?
It's not Kali, but yeah, I think so. Well, that is like, I almost wonder if that's why they were doing it, because they were at like such a high vibration that they were emitting light, and then but now it's like, what do you think?
Exile about to answer.
Radiation.
Yeah, well, so you don't think we'd actually be able to see it with our eyes, unless you were eating, I don't know, eating pizza? I don't know. Like, I'm just trying to catch myself. What was that?
That was me choking.
In the body, the blue chakra is our throat chakra. So that also has to do with communication and reception of communication. How well I am to clearly express my feelings, ideas, being, experience.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna say I had heard True, talking about expressing ideas, and you were saying how it seems like, I don't know, someone's cracking down on certain ideas on certain video channels and whatnot.
It's a monopoly.
I had heard that yeah, so supposedly, like, the Twitter there, they're about to launch some big video section of their, like, a new video platform or something. They're adding a big one to it.
Oh,
And I don't know, are they going to try to force a bunch of people over there to make it seem like, oh, you can say whatever you want here and you can do whatever you want here, and then, like, they're going to tighten up the YouTube one.
Yeah, moving the goalposts.
Yeah.
Yeah, to force everyone over there, because I don't know, man. I don't trust that guy. He's like I mean, sometimes it seems like he does things that are okay, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man.
You just the guy.
I don't trust any of them. Yeah, I don't.
I don't trust none of them.
Because they. No.
He just
Hey,
the
what's
guy,
up,
though.
y'all?
What's up with it? Christos, you back, huh?
Yeah. Yep. I wanted to come back, and I heard some people might be hopping off. I just wanted to help keep it going. But something that seems to happen a lot when diving in with something like Dimitri is, and this could just maybe be the imagination factor that can play into things, but I find, because Joe Crow just brought up the Hindu blue people and whatnot, and that's definitely interesting. But hey, I assume y'all as well will get the experiences where it's not like clear cut.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this culture. Like, sometimes it is, okay, it's this Japanese, it's some of the Asian dragons, or is this some of the Hindu stuff? But I'll get, like, because a classic one is people will say, oh, it was like Egypt, but technological and futuristic. Well, it seems like sometimes it's like a combination of Hindu and Asian stuff. For example, like, I came across what seemed to be like an underwater version of Kali Ma that was also somewhat cybernetic, and it stuck its tongue out like Kali Ma, but something told me it wasn't Kali Ma.
Yeah.
Even though I know people would be seeing her, like, so I mean, and there was even conveyor belts, and she had two deities come up from behind her. She had red eyes, so this was from earlier. I was talking about, seeing the spiders, and they turned into, like, my vision cracking.
Yeah.
Like, once I finally had laid down and gotten up my stairs and all this stuff in between I've been sharing, that's what really came to me in the silence, just laying down on my bed trying to get myself together just to relax into it, because I was so jarred. It was probably the most intense come up I ever had, where it was so instantaneous. I mean, within the first few seconds, there was the what sounded like underwater aliens, like, humming and singing to me, and it seemed very, like, familiar too, and it creeped me out, honestly, because it reminded me of, like, fever dreams, or like fever dreams or dissociative states that some can be in. And I'm like, I've heard this before. It was very bizarre. But anyway, to get back to what I was saying about the Hindu stuff, yeah, it was a trio. Beings always appearing in a trinity, right? the
Yeah.
three shadow beings, or the aliens coming out of their craft or whatever appearing. Like, there's that classic archetype, but it was really interesting, man, because there's like an underlying really dark aquatic, but it wasn't like this type of aquatic. It was like a black ether aquatic, and there was some type of like weird coral kind of looking stuff that would be equivalent to what we know as coral. But there was also in this black ether that I was seeing with these three Hindu beings, there was like these yellowish kind of dark gold brown conveyor belts going in all different directions. I was like, I don't know why there's conveyor belts here right now, but
I'm laughing because I seen something like that before, and it was almost like it was like a factory.
Yeah.
But it was like a fractal factory that was making something, and I don't know what it was making. But,
yeah, and so yeah, go ahead.
But I have those experiences. I used to have those experiences too, where it'll start off and it'll be like an Asian type Chinese theme, with these lanterns and these dragons, and the roofs of the places, they look like you watching a kung fu movie. But one thing about it though, Christos, that threw me off is when I started doing a little bit of research on that and finding out that before the Chinese and stuff, so whoever they are, start building those types of houses, it was another, I don't know if it was the Hindus or somebody else that was doing it before them. So it's like we think we doing these two, we think we seeing these two different spectrums, when this one copied that one. It copied that one over there.
There you go. I like that totally. It's like Kalindi E talking about how these different forms of architecture came from the hyperdimensional realms. Like, a lot of this stuff, we think of certain cultures having their original architecture, but really what we know as their original architecture is more of an inspiration or copy or download from the quote-unquote original in the hyperdimensional realms, if we want to call it that. So I hear you, yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically
good.
like what a lot of different cultures did at the same time. They copied the styles of other cultures that came before them, and we'll think that culture was the one that developed that because they stuff is like that, but it's like they got it from somewhere else, and it's like, dang, bro, it makes sense why they kind of I ain't gonna say they mixed up, but why you see a multitude of all of them together.
Yeah, because there's that compendium of knowledge, and so it would make sense. There's a Hold on. It would make sense. There's a crossover with these fields of knowledge, or states of being completely, because like the mushroom or the mushies and all this other stuff basically act as compendiums of knowledge, if we want to call it that. And I just wanted to throw this in here as well. When I saw those three Hindu beings come out of the darkness and I was laying down. Oh, hold on. I got another loud thing coming by here. My bad.
All right. Oh, thanks for respecting and going mute, though.
Yep. I try to be conscious of that. I hop on people's StreamYard panels. So I usually try to be conscious of that. But yeah, man, I had the archetypal, what people talk about, the telepathic communication, where they weren't speaking, but I could tell exactly what they were trying to communicate to me into my mind immediately, because it was very wrathful. It was a female, again, it was like almost Kali Ma type looking being with red eyes, and she was basically communicating what appeared in my mind. She was saying something along the lines of, what do you think you're doing? Coming here trying to report back this knowledge to these people online in this community, like as if I was like in a safari tour or being like a tourist, going into a foreign land and trying to capture evidence, or it was a very like, you're not welcomed here, who do you think you are? So that was interesting, but at the same time, going back to what Kalindi E and others speak on, these OGs and greats within these realms of experiences, you don't want to bow down right away or even at all to these beings, as magnificent or wrathful as they may seem. You want to walk into these places like you own the joint. So even if they're condemning you or trying to shame you or acting like you don't belong there, you experience it for what it is.
Yeah.
You don't add on any unnecessary judgment. If you're still able to do that with whatever bit of your ego may be still, there and filtering the experience. So that was pretty wild, man. I was like, whoa. It was heavy, man. I felt like I was, and that happened before when the time before or after, that same night, I did the Dimitri. I was like, oh my God, I feel like I let the genie out the bottle. Both times that night, I had 2 experiences. And the second time, I was like, did I do something karmically, like, grave? Like, I had questioned myself for a minute, like, oh, I'm doing something that's really not child's play. I know it's not anything to be taken lightly, but, like, I felt like I caused basically a ripple within the place where I was in time, space, that something with my surroundings registered that it wasn't normal. It was almost like my environment was like, what do you think you're doing? And even, the spirit, the feminine spirit was like, hey, I don't know why you're doing this in the metropolitan area. You're not out in nature. You're surrounded by all this electronics. But it was like, but you're all right. You're still going to have this experience. So we're going to go with it. But next time, get out in nature is what she told me. But yeah, y'all got it. I'm just rambling.
Yeah. No, you ain't rambling. You telling it, because that's like it. I remember going through the phases of, well, I felt like it was my mind saying these things, because we have all that in there of people saying you should do it like this, you shouldn't do it like that, don't just be doing it anytime, it's sacred, it's this, it's that, and we take all that, and then that stuff plays a part in our experience. When when you let go of all of it, you don't hear all that, and but
Yep.
you just won't hear it, because even whether you reading the Emerald Tablets of Thoth from Kalenides, from Terrence McKenna, it's all happening within you. So a lot of times it makes me wonder, what aspects of us that these entities are. What aspect is Kali Ma? What aspect of what archetype? What part is it playing in the story of you?
Man, micro to macro, as above, so below, and going back to the liminal spaces or the gray area in between what you just said. I like to kind of look at these experiences and see if I can notice the patterns of these certain thresholds. And sometimes you just go with the experience. You don't need to try to analyze it like I'm about to say, but basically it seems there's thresholds where there's certain levels of the experience, Dimitri and so on, where you get to a point where it would seem you can differentiate, or maybe if you can't differentiate, it just is that it's either coming out of you or coming to you. Just like we generate thoughts and receive thoughts, that same dynamic when you're going through these trips, not that it necessarily matters, but it's just something that I like to ponder at times, is okay, how much of this is being generated from me and my programming and my experiences, kind of like you were saying, and what aspects are coming to me. And that's the paradox, right? It's both at the same time, but we gotta have fun with it though. And what's the fun of always coming back to the checkmate of it's all us, it's all inside us. Yeah, I agree, but we came down here into this experience of separation for a reason. So, it's just about integrating this knowledge as we see fit individually, properly. Y'all got it.
Yeah, what you say, BGL?
I was just mumbling. I wasn't saying anything of consequence.
You never do.
Never.
No, I'm just saying.
Never.
I don't know. It's supposed to be a heat wave today, though. That's what they said.
BGL, where's your trip experience? How about that? You ain't never hear no
I can't.
BGL Drizzy.
I can't right now. I'm in.
Oh,
I'm getting ready.
for me, it's later in the day. I forgot about that.
You see how
Getting ready to walk
BGL
off the job.
you see how BGL punked me earlier, Con? Did you catch
I ain't
that?
even get to see it, bro. I was trying to find me a snack.
Man, that's what I was trying to do, and I was gonna take a break and come back. She said, "No, you said you was gonna run all day."
Go get you peanut butter and jelly.
Go get your peanut butter and jelly and let this thing run and come back.
And then he was like, "Y'all
BG?
Golly.
You want me to use my resources? You want me to use my resources?
What else?
All right. Yeah, right. Ain't going nowhere. Trying to run up out of here.
Man, but what's up with it, Dre?
Where you been, brother?
Good.
What's good with it? Where you been? Yeah, where you been, Dre?
Oh my
I've been
goodness.
really busy with my schedule, but I'm good now.
Oh,
Is Dre still Dre?
yeah.
He's still Dre.
Still Dre. Yeah, BGL. Didn't you already hear BGL experience?
We heard some of it.
Man, she go through like every day and junk, bro. It's like a new cartoon episode, bro. Like, I don't even know which one you might be talking about.
When she first seen them visuals, it had me dying laughing. I can see.
Look, girl, I was hoping you would be in the server. I wanted to tell you everything I saw.
Man, that's it, which is wild. Cause I was like, every time I can't get around not having visuals. It don't matter what I take.
That's my favorite part. My favorite part is I ain't gonna lie. That's my favorite part. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro.
Yeah.
Cause it always like whoop. It always do the what. I'm like a little DJ. And what?
Yeah. It's dope because like once you start paying attention to the visuals, you can hear what they saying. That's speaking. The way it just be speaking life and showing you life and how it's speaking and showing you living it at the same time. I think that's the amazing part for me is the fact that, that's where I think the experience is coming from you being the experience, not just, being the experiencer, but becoming the whole experience itself.
Yeah, non-dual state, or the sense of that you're everywhere.
Yeah, and just explain, man. We sound crazy. I'm sorry to say, y'all, we are the crazies. Yeah, you too,
Beyond
Kristen.
smoke and
Where the
mirrors,
info
bro.
is.
Deep diving.
Yeah, like Wally Soto. That's where the information's at.
Yeah, I know, huh?
Yeah, that's really crazy if you think about, like, what if they would have never actually made it all illegal and it would have just been a normal part of culture instead of just being stuff that, like, tech people and, like, psychologists and whatever tech, or, like, artists.
Then we wouldn't have access to it in the same way that we have.
There's, like, people who say, like, before the reset or whatever, before the Tartarian fall, like, most people were on it pretty much all the time. And there's some people who say, like, back a long time ago, when we were, like, more in tune with nature and it was more like villages and tribes, people were on it all the time as well.
I don't doubt it. I said, this is what it is. This right here, right now. Exile, right now. Or now.
Right
or is
now.
it now?
No.
Or is it now? Or is it right now?
No.
Hey,
Right now.
like consider this. Consider this. Why does magic even exist? Like the concept of it. Like I'm not talking about like parlor tricks. I'm not talking about like the idea of like, you know, drawing down like circles and like people getting together and wearing black robes or whatever. But why does the concept itself exist?
Because
Like
it makes sense.
no, but hang on. Let me like continue the
Yeah, go ahead, Dre.
elaboration
Go
on
ahead,
this.
Dre.
So what if there genuinely was actually like enhanced what people would call supernatural conditions, but it was just a normal thing, like for a long time. But then stuff happened. A lot of groups were like, okay, you guys can't have all access to this anymore. Only we can have access to this. And if you want to go through spiritual stuff, we're the middleman now. And gradually they forced that concept, you know, religions with like state stuff, countries and all that. And it's still a thing, but it's now like a hypothetical thing. Like for instance, let's imagine like an apocalypse just happened, and we wait 100 years, and then we're back to like huts and spears and shit. And there's people who are like, yo, we used to have these like boxes that would float us in the air. You know, we used to have like these electric sticks that you could poke someone with, and they would like send like a magical current through them and disable them and stuff.
Huh.
Feel me?
Planet of
Like,
the
what if it
Apes.
was actually the norm?
They made a movie out of that.
At a high enough or deep enough level, magic becomes indistinguishable, or science becomes indistinguishable from, looks like magic.
Yeah.
And it's just the understanding of the thing, knowing that that thing is not really outside of you, but it's also within you.
Because the supernatural is always something you can't explain. But if it's like experienceable, then one way or another, there's an explanation for it. There's like some kind of something interacting with something, and matter doing something, visual occurrence or something that has an effect down the line on multiple people.
Do you think prayer is a form of magic?
Okay, so I actually like have an idea on that. If we're in a reality where we can like think of infinity, that means one way or another infinity exists.
Yeah.
If infinity exists, then all potential and all possibility exists. And if all potential and all possibility exists, that means like even the most basic common thing, which is like a computer, would mean that somewhere in the universe there is the most powerful computer ever that you can interact with and you can talk to, and it might have like a reality editing effect to where if it likes you enough, it actually edits reality for you. But that's aside from you talking to your subconscious and like putting emotion in, like the people who do the manifestation law of attraction stuff. That's literally them like rerouting and rescripting their subconscious to make their subconscious like notice small slight patterns that they could like ride the wave on to get the outcome that they want. So yeah, the prayer would actually work. And then like, what if that actually is affected as well? Like you could affect synapses, because like the way you move your body and the way you communicate and the way you like think and everything is firing synapses. What if your synapses are so tuned and so strong that you can actually send information to other people's synapses and they pick up on those slight like thinking patterns and electric patterns, and if they're in tuned and compatible, they would actually get a physical effect. So you would have like someone who's trained to pray over someone and it would actually work.
Yeah. UL said anytime you talk to yourself or anybody else, you have a reality altering effect. Like he said at the same time you were saying it. So it's like
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that was
Go
The
ahead.
word supernatural means like really natural. The word extraordinary means really ordinary. It's not something outside. It's not something. It's kind of meant or taken in the way that it's something outside of ourselves, like unknown.
Yeah.
But that's just more of us.
Yeah, colloquially. Yeah,
They say-
exactly.
They say we're in an
that's not-
inverted reality. So everything is like the opposite. So yeah, you read on it. It's like extraordinary. So it's really just the most normal thing ever. We're just all completely psyoped into making weird stuff more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important to point that out and to see how we can do that with a lot of words, and we can basically we can alchemize and reverse the roles and basically decode the more real, more weightful meaning behind these words, especially when you look into the etymology, the true core of what the meanings are and the underlying pinnings are of these words we use, so we can use them more appropriately to do exactly what he was saying. The guy who was just speaking articulated that
Dre.
very well. Dre, okay, cool.
Yeah, Dre. That's Dre. But I think the stuff that we want to, that we push and want to bring into existence is like man-made stuff. It don't have too much to do with like the nature of things that was here. It's like the stuff we built.
Hey, but think about this, man. Even the people who actually have like completely mastered the ability to get whatever they want out of life, they only want what's given to them, in the sense that you didn't know you wanted that car, but now you want that car because you see everyone else having that car. But you never actually did need that car, if you know what I mean. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I think our visual and our hearing goes upon certain stuff that, you know, made this thing made that person happy, so it'll do the same for me. But hold on, I'm getting the call. Hold on.
Does man-made mean it's unnatural?
Oh, that's a good question, man. I like that.
Okay,
You
so
know, yeah, go ahead.
imagine you're an ant. The ants make the ant hills. Is the ant hill unnatural?
Exactly.
I would even say, like, let's go with like CRISPR, GMO, like editing genes and stuff. You might say it's unnatural, but how is it unnatural to the sense of a human? Because you're trying to do stuff to edit yourself all the time. Because, like, if you're doing basic push-ups every day, you're trying to edit yourself, you're trying to genetically modify yourself. You're using your own weight to change your body's form and composition.
Yeah. Yeah, I think when I say everything is natural because it's part of this reality, I think, you know, it's probably saying too much. Because, like, I be feeling like that. Like, nothing, like, anything that we have or we made here, we make it seem like, okay, that's not natural. That's not natural. But it was edited here. It's from here. Whether it was the wheat made in the corn or whatever, you know, how they made, how bananas are made now, it's like it still was here. It didn't come from another planet. So why wouldn't it be natural? Supernatural. Supernatural. And that's us. We supernatural.
And extraordinary.
And extraordinary. But but I'm waiting. You know, one day we gonna have something from not here, like how they tried to say that you know, the ship crashed, and then they got the parts of the UFO that don't burn and don't catch fire and all these different things.
I think that was some bullshit to like bring up from underground some technology. Cause like after all the stuff, all the content that I looked into, man, there's a strong like inclination, and I'm not the only one who said this. Like, who was the other one who said this? The music rapper dude. I forgot his name. Man. I feel bad for forgetting his name. So I had a long conversation with him.
Yeah.
He's a little bit older. He comes in here. He's a rapper.
I don't know who you're talking about.
He has a deep voice, and he raps like 90s, early 2000s.
E40?
No.
Man, no, you did. E40 do not got no deep voice. You disrespectful.
Nabi?
Nabi. Oh yeah, Nabi.
Yeah. I don't know where he gets his info, but man, it coincides with a lot of info that I get. And the people I get my info from, bro, they got like receipts, like they got proof on this stuff. But supposedly, like, there's a whole underground civilization, and they're like cataclysm proof and reset proof, and they slowly, gradually, like, release technology up on the surface. Like, they don't just push it all at once. They release it gradually onto people to see how people are going to react based on the current like level. Like, let's say there's a wipe, and like something happens, and there's a major cataclysm. People get wiped, and then you have a new culture. The initial snowball effect, like the tiny little snowball rolling down the hill of how people behave, will dictate like the longer running like snowball. Like, let's say after 10 years they act this way. That means after 100 years they act this way, which means you can't really give them air conditioning right now. You gotta wait like 150 years to give them air conditioning because they're gonna act a certain way and they're not gonna be productive, or they're not gonna do that or this. So they like slowly release technology back every reset or every wipe or something.
Man,
and the alien stuff is just like a cover or an excuse for that.
I never thought the aliens was real. I ain't gonna hold you. But if they are, I'm just saying. They might not be, who knows. I don't think I've seen anything real about aliens yet. It's like even the Anunnaki story is like kind of weird to me.
Bro, it's what's that dude? There's like a dude who had a theory on this, the Fermi paradox or whatever. And there's like people who elaborate on that, and they're like, "Yo, if you're like an alien race, if you have technology, that means you're warfare based. That means you have borders. That means you have a government system. That means you have a ranking system. Because if everyone has a fucking ship that can destroy everything, just one little argument and they're all just going to self-implode and pop off. So there's a hierarchy. And if there's logically a hierarchy, that means they want to colonize places for resources, because you always need new resources. You always need new terrain. It's like the basic United States, or like the British Empire, or like the Roman Empire, the Mongolian Empire. You always need more land. You always need more stuff. You always want to have more access to stuff, and you always want to launder everything because you don't want competition. Why the hell would I wait for humans to be like technologically developed to communicate with them? Bro, I would invade the place while they're still like just throwing spears or like having bows and stuff. Like, it doesn't really make any sense.
Yeah, great point.
Hey, I'm not gonna hold you. Like two theories here. I was watching the William Donahue with Donahue. I forgot his name. I watched him last night, and he got into like that photon junk, and it made me think of the Anunnaki, bro. They was like, they came here to fix their atmosphere, or whatever, to restabilize their atmosphere. They needed like some type of monatomic gold or the principles of that matter. And then the dude in the video talking about, he basically correlated God or Jesus to photons, like the light coming down or whatever. And I'm thinking like, yo, what if this whole Anunnaki story just about like little elements, like little particles that's, oh, they came down to Earth. It probably did that because it's mad conductive or something like that, like monatomic gold or something like that. So that's why it probably hit that point.
You well said. People keep thinking that intelligence has to create technology in the form of machines and become big enough to have a ship. But the closest thing that even science can find is fungi and gems. And simple fungi have the ability to take a rock in the middle of space and turning it into a planet. That's terraforming technology right there. Golly.
That's true, yeah. That's what Terrence McKenna was on about when he was communicating with the mushroom. The mushroom was like, yo, I'm like a living library that goes from reality to reality and world to world. My only purpose is to spread out.
Yeah, it's a technology.
Yeah, that part too, though, like that theory too. If somebody is, or if a race is superior, right? If a race is supposedly superior, and we on some human junk, right? And all we can do is project our human constructs. What if they don't even need a thing like I need to take over a planet? Like, why would they? You know what I mean? Like, why would they do that if they advanced type junk? I'm not saying why, but I'm like, what would be the necessity to do so if they already like advanced or the? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna add on top of that. Why would they even have a constant form? Like one of the first things I would do if I had high levels of technology would be to make myself be able to shapeshift into whatever I want to suit the environment.
Yeah. That be the story whenever I hear somebody talk about like God and the devil, and they be like, well, the devil wanted to take over, what God built, and it's like, why don't he just do like the fungi and go make his own planet? If that was the case, wouldn't that be easier?
Hey, bro, if God is God, why does the devil exist?
Because if they say if God would have just wiped the devil out in the beginning, people would have kind of looked at him in a weird way. That's what I be thinking.
How do you look at God?
Without a perceived other, there would be no experience.
I think it's deeper than that. I think because God is God, God ain't that great as well. Because if you think about it, what does the devil do? The devil tempts people who would have been tempted anyway, so he brings out people's demon. And most of the time, he's doing like some like prison warden stuff. Like he's like keeping the nasty people like locked away from the good people type stuff. So I think they're both kind of messed up if you think about it.
That's the box people put them in, huh?
But here's the thing though. We project our concept of God and the devil from an idea that was like sort of archaic before people had access to like psychology and like human dynamics and sociology and all that. When it was just a rudimentary concept of God. Yeah. And then like it was a coagulation of different concepts and different like aspects and abilities, but it was still based on what people knew technologically, like tangibly, like fire, spears, swords, like hierarchies and everything. Yeah. So they projected those concepts onto those deities, and then our general idea of what God is our human concept of God. But that's probably like 0.1% of what it actually really is, because like how does it even have a gender? Like why do you say he? Yeah. Some people say she, some people say he. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it have a gender?
It's like a societal, it's like a part of a viewpoint or a perspective of like a patriarchal what's the name? Like not even trying to like be like that. Like some societies there was matriarchal, and then some societies probably follow a patriarchal. That's why they always talking about like no weird junk. They always talking about something like erect, like hey your spine, or get the kundalini up. Or they'd be like, oh, the Mason is doing the obelisk or something like that. It's like some type of no weird junk, but the actual word erection, like just to go up or to like, you know what I mean? That word itself, I think it's associated with the patriarchal junk. And I think that's why they be like he. Like if you kind of look back, even in recent times, they wasn't trying to give like women the credibility or like none of that stuff. They were just like dude. So it's like, why would I have a society to where I'm doing dude, and I'm gonna tell everybody that it's a she? People gonna be like, man, no, like they ain't gonna run with it. But the dudes who are running it is like, you know what, they gonna run with it. And then the society that might have set up in that way, it may benefit that society in that way. But if it's like, hey, this is God and it's supposed to be everything, it's either genderless or it's both. Not or, but you know what I mean? It's like, why would it be one or the other? I get what you're saying too. But it's like these, I'm not gonna say these people, like it's a group of people, like, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna say it like that. But whoever setting this up or got this set up, they're like, hey, I mess with this viewpoint or the quote unquote masculinity viewpoint. I'm gonna project this out. And then now we got like a he or something. Or you know what I mean?
Like, here's the thing, man. They will associate God to being a gender based on, like I said before, the limited understanding of the environment and the sociological situation. Because in one aspect, you look at the womb and then you think, well, what is the immediate material concept of a God here, creator? That would be a mother. So to everyone, technically their mother is God. But nothing happens without the phallus. So it's pretty much still just a gender war, except it's a spiritual gender war. And like the phallic symbolism can be enforced way easier than the womb symbolism because the womb symbolism is more valuable in a tribal village, whereas the phallic symbolism is easier to impose when you have an army of soldiers of males. Because obviously an army of soldiers of males would tower over females.
Well, what's perceived as a conflict can also be perceived in that same scenario can be perceived as a dance.
So I also wanted to add on maybe the dude just coming to them as a dude. Like this one source, my bad, real quick. This one source thing, it's like, you know how you used to look at something off of mushrooms or, my mushies or any of those. And it's like, oh, I saw this, but I saw it this way. So I think like maybe, I'm not saying this will happen, but I'm thinking like they perceive this oneness from the masculine side. So it came to them the masculine side because maybe they wasn't able to receive you know what I mean? Like, not to say there's both where like, you know what I mean? Like they're looking at that one thing from the thing that they're projecting onto it or tuning into. So for them, it's showing up as these quote unquote masculine aspects or something like that. And then not even taking into effect that the women on our planet births, not just the women, but like the life. You know what I mean? I'm not saying what all the insects or animals. I know there's like hermaphrodites and stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, for us, like the women birth us type junk. So it's like that part makes sense as well. I do see what you're
The
saying.
mitochondria is feminine. The mitochondria is feminine.
Hey, somebody told me that was like a rampant bacteria that was going crazy or something like that. Or I forgot what they said.
Yeah,
the mitochondria is essentially your nuclear reactors. Like it's what transmutes whatever into energy.
And it was a bacteria that lived outside of our cell, but our cells mutated in a way, allowed the symbiosis between these two. So that's how we got the mitochondria in our cells.
And then it's like a weird thing how like we are literally like the combination of those little things that decided to like merge together and make.
Yes, by everything big is made up of something small.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny you bring that mitochondrial DNA up because when I was talking to Dimitri that once about what we were talking to a little while ago, I was looking back at that old video game, Parasite Eve, and that's what it's all about is the mitochondrial DNA is inside of us. And if there's a certain way to trigger it, and once you do, it's like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly, you know? So it's like they say that it came from bacteria, but I mean, how do they really know that though? You know,
Oh,
did
it was
some? I
my bad, my bad.
no, I was just gonna say. I mean, what if someone put it there on purpose? You know, so that we could like, I guess, evolve into something. You know, something more because
You're
they don't
you're onto
really.
something. Because like, what even is bacteria? How the hell does water just start accumulating like minerals, and then just all of a sudden it's like a functioning like tiny little robot?
And the they showed the shape of the mitochondria, and it was a circle. It looked like a cymatic pattern, and that's what I was just when I was talking to Dimitri, he was showing me like the circles and the cymatic patterns, and inside the cathedrals, they also have like the circle stained glass windows, you know, and the mandalas too. You know, it's like, um, what do the monks say? Like, why do they draw those sand mandalas? Do you
Oh,
know why they do
I
that shit?
wouldn't refer to the monks, man. I think all the cathedrals are like they used to use them for something else, and people just moved in and started using them as house of worship or whatever. Like those were like technology buildings, man.
Hey, no funny. I don't know if y'all noticed, but the mitochondria, like a dude gets it from his mom. Like the dude can't pass down a mitochondria.
Yeah,
Only
that's
the
why I said it's
woman
feminine.
can pass down the mitochondria. That's the funny part about it, type John. So it's kind of like what Red Wing Crow was saying. Like I could see like both of those, but not like somebody putting it here. It's like I got this thing, and then not this thing, but I got whatever this is, right? Whatever we are started up, whatever that is, right? I got this thing up. That thing is evolving like this. Let's throw in the woman who could pass down this gene type of thing, and then now the man can get the gene. I mean, you know what I mean? The offspring of the woman can get the gene type. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like we can't pass that down. I don't know why, but it don't get passed down through. You get passed down through the mama. So it's like it's matriarchal.
Hey, it's even trippier than that because if you like simplify it, like, because like if you simplify everything, you get a concrete answer to things. If you simplify the female shape and you simplify the male shape is trapezoidic triangle from the top down, and then the female shape is curved triangle from the bottom up.
Yes, dudes who like I like to call that like okay, I'm not gonna say I make fun of, but I like to like kind of poke at that. You ever seen somebody who fresh out of jail, bro, and they did like mad ears and like they did was workout, but their legs is little. Their whole top half is mad big, but their legs is little. Like in my mind, that looks like I'm building up to protect my heart area. Or I'm, you know, like whatever that is kind of thing. And then the woman, I'm not gonna say the woman, like this applies to all women or something like that. But just looking at my family, like the women would have like bigger legs or they got bigger foundations type junk. You know what I mean? So it looks like they carry more or something like that, or they may perceptually carry more. You know how a dude just got a big old sack on his back or something like that, and he always carrying that sack. He may like develop some stronger legs. That's what
Yeah,
I
man.
kind of
In
think about, like
bodybuilding,
the application to the woman aspect. Like you can see their strongness or their strengthness in their foundation. Last part too, I know you about to say something. According to I forgot the doctor name. One of those, either Dr. Gregory or Africa, one of them. A lot of the mitochondria is found in the behind. A lot of mitochondria is found in the behind. Like how they call it treasure booty. That's all allegedly though, but a lot of mitochondria is found down there. And that also made me correlate. This is a side note, but that also made me correlate like why they twerk a lot, or like why people may twerk a lot. It's like some other essence in there rather than oh they just twerk. It's like nah, that's like they're like gyrating I don't know how to explain it, but you know what I mean? It's than just
actually, yeah.
they're dancing or they're just shaking their hips. They're like activating and gyrating the essence of mitochondria in that bank down there. You know what I mean? Like something like that. It may not be consciously, but subconsciously a thing. And I feel like when other like feminine aspects see that, it's like, oh, that like that's a natural thing to do. instead of looking at it like, oh, they're shaking their behind. No, that's not how I'm supposed to carry my. No, I think it's like that expression of that mitochondria, or you know what I mean, like belly dancing or something maybe.
Man, that 100% is it because the mass is like around hips and around the legs for a female, and the mass for a male is around the lats and the shoulders. This is a bodybuilding thing. Everyone knows this. Like, even the biggest bodybuilder dude who works on his legs like crazy, he'll always have like a wider shoulder and back. Like, like if you, a good example is people who take steroids because the steroids will actually absolutely max out the mutative potential of tissue. And a dude who takes steroids, he can't touch his back. Like he cannot reach his back. A female who takes steroids can still reach her back.
I seen a meme like that. Somebody put a paper on somebody's back and get it off.
Yeah, I seen that too. That's where I was getting like a mental image.
That's like had me crying, bro.
And he couldn't get it off.
That's some real shit. That's some real shit right there, man. Because you used chemistry to like max out your mutative potential. You can actually see the actual full geometry of the body when you do that.
Is it the full geometry though, or is it just like what the okay, boom, boom? I'm not saying it like as a rebuttal, but it makes me question because like you ever heard of the experiment where you can work out, or they think about working out? They have an experiment group who actually does the workout, one who don't do nothing at all, and one who just like think about it or something like that. And they'll show like the people who just think about it, they'll grow muscle, or like whatever the experiment they're doing, they'll have similar results to the people that's doing it. Or something like that. Might be
that's legitimate because you can literally think yourself into feeling terrible. Like if you ever have like a mental argument with someone who doesn't even actually exist, or you saw some person once and out of nowhere you just start having like a mental argument with the person, that's like a common thing. Bro, you'll literally start feeling terrible. Like you'll feel like a pull in your chest and your stomach going down. You'll feel uneasy. So you can actually think yourself into feeling terrible, which means you can think yourself into feeling good, which means you can think yourself into feeling like strong.
Yo, that's dang, bro. Every time y'all say something, it just made me think of a correlation for it. I'm not gonna lie to you. So when you get stressed out, your body get filled with salt and junk, bro. And then when you said like the connection to the heart and the stomach, I'm thinking about how the solar plexus are around that. Well, to me, I'm not saying that it is, but to me, that's like where the campfire is, or that fire is. And then when you salty, I think salt helps extinguish fires. I think I might be like wrong on that. It might be something else, but I think it's some type of salt.
There's a Ayurvedic and a Chinese medicine correlation between the types of food you crave and you want to eat and your current emotional situation.
That gut biome,
if you're sad or depressed, you're gonna seek out sweet stuff. If you're angry, you're gonna seek out salty stuff and crunchy stuff.
No funny. That's exactly what African holistic health do to our the same concept. It implements the same concept. Like when somebody's nervous or something like that, chewy stuff or something that'll like soothe the anxiety from the anticipation. When they're mad, crunchy stuff, it dissolves it dissolves the anger, but it helps like for some reason it helps with the anger. When they're lonely or something like that, comfort food, like warm and soft food. So spaghetti, macaroni, stuff like that.
There's another thing. If you're feeling lonely, you're more than likely to seek out some kind of like fire-based thing, like smoking a cigarette or smoking a joint or something. Like the heat and the warmth actually like has like this weird effect where it like takes away your loneliness, because loneliness is also a fear of like not having anyone around you technically. And if you're in the middle of nowhere and you don't have a fire, it's gonna trip you out. But the moment you make a campfire, you feel a little bit more easier. So that's like a weird ancient like genetic thing on people.
Hey,
it's fascinating. I was just gonna say it's always fascinating to see the elements at play within so many aspects of reality, underpinning things, just like you were saying, the associations with different acts or maybe conditions that the body can have. Yeah, but y'all got it.
I knew someone who whenever they felt anxious and like depressed, she had to lie down on the floor. Like she literally just lie down on the floor. And sometimes if you think about it, like some people did that when they were kids. Like I did it. Sometimes I just felt like lying down on the floor and not doing anything and just being grounded on the floor. So that's like the earth element right there.
Yeah, if I'm really messed up for something, some type of emotions or energies overcome me, if I know I really need to snap out of it, yeah, I'll just go lay down in the grass outside, laying on the ground to ground. Yep.
And then sometimes when you can't see everything in life properly and like you have no idea where you're going, you'll want to be on a high rise somewhere, like on a high balcony, and just look down on the city or something. That's the air.
Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, going on a hike, getting to an elevation spot. It also is relaxing to the eyes. It's good for the brain to take in big scenery, vast scenery. Because in this world, especially if you live in the city or wherever, more urban areas, everything's so up close. There's all the stimuli constantly everywhere. So getting up to a mountaintop or hillside and getting a really good view overlooking everything, it does something for our eyes and brain all at once that I think we can underappreciate or look past sometimes in the modern world in the lifestyles that we have at times.
Hey, I may be mistaken. Either the orange or the yellow chakra incorporates like socialness or something like that. I forgot it, bro. I'm really fuzzy on those ones. But it's something
I
about
think it would be both.
interaction and social. My bad, what?
Yeah, you're right. It's because you say you compared it to like the campfire, or someone said something about a campfire with one of the chakras, and I'm like,
Yeah.
the solar plexus, and then the sacral, for sure, the sexual energy, and then the solar plexus is associated with power dynamics.
Yeah, the orange one is associated with belonging or with like sociability or community or
I wonder if that's why like we go out and make the camp. Like in your example, how it's like if I'm out alone and I'm lonely and then I'm gonna build that fire. I wonder if that's like us trying to make an outside projection of, you know what I mean? Like trying to tune ourselves in a way. Not just, oh, I'm cold, but oh, I'm lonely or I don't have the interaction or the social interaction or whatever that case may be. So I'm going to use the yellow campfire inside of me, that chakra campfire, to project out to have a thing that tune me or something like that or soothes me. Like if I'm feeling sad, I'm going to go get some ice cream or something. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Hey, but think about this, man. Almost every place that's cold is lonely because there's not that much vegetation, there's not that much life, there's not that much anything going on. So cold is lonely because wherever it's hot, there's like a lot of foliage, a lot of jungle, a lot of animals.
Yeah, that's mad. That's mad funny. That's mad
It's supernatural. It's very natural, man. All these connections we're making between, hot and cold, and even certain, the shapes or something being soft and hard. Y'all talking about crunching on something with different emotions versus, something smooth and warm. Like, I never did consider that microscopic aspect of the association between the energies and emotions, and why we would eat certain things, and how it can get so granular like that. It was great. It's syncretism at its finest, making those correlations and connections over multiple fields.
Yeah, that just tripped me out real quick. That just tripped me out. The places where it's hot or supposedly hot allegedly is more positive, which is allegedly more expansive, but it's more dense with life. And in places where it's cold or more, not negative as in bad, but negative as in more contracting kind of thing, the ions or whatever it is contracting. And
Hey,
there's less
something to
life.
think about. I'm not going to say never because maybe I don't know, but you will rarely ever find something venomous or poisonous in a cold place. That's usually where all the heat is, because that's the chemistry.
Huh.
Because you can get poisoned by so many things in a tropical area, in a jungle, in any kind of like hot area. Like you got the Congo jungle, you got the Indian jungle, the Asiatic jungles, the South American jungle. There's poisonous stuff everywhere. There's venomous stuff everywhere. But in a cold place, you'll have most of the time just stuff with big teeth and big claws.
I wonder if that could affect
That's
the,
interesting.
like the when it get cold. Like you know how if you cold, your circulation isn't circulating that easily or something like that. So I wonder why. I wonder if that's why they placed in warm environments so they can use their defense mechanism and it works in the time that they need it to. There's no point of a snake being venomous if it bites. Let's just say like penguins hunt snakes, right? There's no point of biting this penguin if it takes like 8 hours for it to go down. You know what I mean? Because the circulation or something like that. And I know penguins are like they warm or they got like insulation or something like that. But I'm just saying like if the venom takes a minute to hit the thing to make it go down, that's kind of ineffective for the animal, bro. He might as well not even have that.
Yeah.
So I think
There's
going to the
a lot
warm
of
place
venoms
it
are
allows
blood
the
are
circulation.
a lot of venoms are blood thickeners. Like they just make the blood very thick, so it can't flow that way.
Hey, even
Oh,
people
that's
do that
crazy.
though. Like that's crazy because even people do that. They move to the warmer places. Like when it get rainy over here, they'll have a house over in Mexico that they'll spend. You know, because it's not cold as it is here.
Yo, that's trippy. You think when you get cold, do your blood vessels constrict? Is that or do they widen to try to get more circulation?
Yeah, they constrict. They constrict so that your body, so it holds like in more heat and it doesn't. But I taught a paramedic I know up here, and he was doing it right outside Boston. He said it was like easily you could tell in the winter people's blood. He said it would be thick, you know, and dark, and then in the summertime, if they were bleeding, it'd be like bright red and real thin like water. Ain't that crazy? Like, I didn't know it was that much of a difference, but it literally does thicken. But if you see up here, because I'm in New Hampshire, I mean, dude, the leaves are already changing. I don't know if it is like down in New York where you are, but it's always near the water though too. The leaves, we've been seeing it like the last 2 weeks in August. It was like, man, it's depressing because that means winter's coming. But
well, that's why
no,
we
I
have
just wanted to-
certain techniques. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Well, I just was going to say, because I'm working, but it seems like me, but you know, they talk about like the collective consciousness, but it seems like you guys were talking earlier about how, you know, when people lived in tribes, they could eat all the pepperoni pizzas they wanted. Or I mean, mushroom pizzas, all they wanted all day long, and talk to Dimitri. And it seems like when I meditate, I get a lot of instructions on how like people are going to go back to more like tribe-based. I don't know why, but and I hear about people wanting to like, you know, make these groups and go buy land and stuff, but it doesn't seem like it's happening unless I'm just living under a rock up here.
Can I add on top of that, man?
Yeah, go ahead.
The illegalization and the legalization are all controlled aspects. Like they're all scripted aspects based on a giant like plan, based on like certain quadrants of like people behave in certain ways. Just like that one theory that every 80 years there's like a major world war, like a big financial like change or crash or whatever. I think that it's literally a scripted thing when they made it illegal, and it's a scripted thing when they're making it legal. Because right now you have a lot of pharmaceutical giants that are patenting combinations of different things of psychoactives. Like they're literally patenting them. They're trying to make their own version. They're trying to GMO their own version and make them legal, and then like make clinical situations for them where they can be used in therapy as long as like they get paid a certain amount. And all of this is probably following some kind of like overall giant world climate of things that have to happen. Because I was watching this video where it's like this dude was talking about how like a country is pretty much a prison, and he's right. A country is a prison because you can't do anything. You have to pay to be in there. You can't leave. You have to pay to live. You have to work. You have to have like a passport to be allowed to leave. They can even tell you you're not allowed to leave if they want to. Like nothing tells them that they have to give you a passport. They could just make up some random reason as to why you're not allowed to leave. So all these countries, all these borders are pretty much mental illnesses. Because like Brazil doesn't actually exist. It's just an area, and then they said, okay, this part right here, that's Brazil, and like the border is like at this longitude and latitude, and all the way through here, and this line and this line. That's a mental illness, because that's not a real thing. That doesn't exist. That's a perimeter. That's like a village perimeter. The village perimeter doesn't really exist. It might actually exist when you start to see the village, and then when you stop seeing it. But that's about it. But it's still there. It's always there. And if you're taking psychoactives, if you're taking entheogens, you realize these things and you start to question these things. And then like it throws off the overall massive processing of what a country would be, of what a governing body would be. And that like affects like the ability to get stuff done. Because like a country is its military and its pharmaceutical research and its technological like development. If you impede those, then you're open to having competition be better than you. And in order to not have competition be better than you, you have to always be able to have access to the best resources with the least amount of time delay in between getting those resources. Like if you need that 5 tons of iron, you better get that 5 tons of iron way before everyone else to make sure that you always are on point with your materials, with your weaponry, with your infrastructure and everything. And the only way to have that happen is for everyone to cooperate and to be compliant with certain rules and regulations. And compliance is almost always based on duress, because if you do not comply, you get a repercussion. And so a repercussion is something that you're forcing on people. So all these things would be very difficult to achieve if you have people that are constantly expanding and awakening their minds to being more than like their immediate physical like surroundings and their basic necessities.
Yeah, there's that fictitious overlay that gets revealed, aka the Matrix, the corporate fiction, as some would call it, because these countries, often a lot of them are actually corporations, or that's basically how they're acting. And I've only come to learn about this stuff recently with, lawful versus legal, the straw man, our birth certificate. I heard someone.
Yeah, it's in the word, man. Corporation, a corp, a body. Corp is a body.
With you.
With bodies.
I was listening to you on a past stream a couple days talk about this, I think. Someone, yeah. Go ahead. This is fire.
Yeah, man, a corporation, like if you take the word corpo, Latin, French, everything, it means a body. So corporations are just an accumulation of different bodies. Because like if I have a team of 5 people and you got a team of 100 people, man, I'm not beating you. Regardless of how good my team is. Like let's say everyone on my team can like take on 5 people at once. That's probably the limit. Because then you could just like zerg the people down. Like I throw 10 people at you, man, you could be the strongest dude ever. It doesn't matter. Someone grabs your leg, someone grabs your arm, someone grabs your head, you get pushed down. So I need more people. So I need more corpse. I need more bodies.
Yeah.
So that's what a corporation is pretty much.
I just wanted to say too, like, I had been thinking about that, and it's like, well, if you could get like 100 people together, or even 50 people together, and buy some land, you could literally claim it as your own town, and then you could decide how much taxes you pay in your own town. Like, couldn't you do that?
Okay, so you actually have to do that. In order for a town to be officially recognized as a town, it has to be incorporated at the state. So a bunch of people can get together, get a bunch of land, build a bunch of things, but there's like an amount of buildings that are required. Like, you need to have a town hall, you need to have a library. You used to have a church if it was called a state, because the state actually means a property of like the Vatican religion, like the translation for the word state. Or a province. All these words are actually legal appellations for Vatican legalese for like owning certain areas. So in order to actually have a town, you have to incorporate it as an actual like corporation or business, because towns are also that. And if you don't, it's not recognized as a town. And if it functions similarly to a town, it can actually be seen as a enemy, like as they call it a domestic terrorist situation, because you would not be complying and you would not be cooperating with the larger ruling government body. Because even if you have a town, man, they're not obligated to route power your way. They're not obligated to route water your way. They're not obligated to have a hospital there. If you have people practicing medical things in that town and they find out, they will shut that down immediately.
Yeah, mineral rights plays into this as well. You're completely spot on. So, you know,
Airspace.
it comes down to
Airspace is so
knowing
important.
yourself and knowing your shit. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the airspace is very important, because that's like the major defense like situation for an army right now. It's the airspace. Like, that's why you need permission to be in airspaces at certain altitudes, or else you literally just get shot down without even like any, like the dudes who fly those fighter jets, man, they're specifically trained to not care if you're like some random dude who's a good person or whatever. You're disrespecting the airspace law, you get shot down, you get killed. It's that simple, because you are a potential threat until they know or they don't know that you're a threat. Even if they know that you're not a threat, you could still potentially be under the guise of misdirection or deception. So they're not
you'd
taking
have
any
to go,
chances.
like, you'd have to do maybe like a condo like situation, like say if you bought some land. Because here's an example. I just saw up in my state, New Hampshire, they were showing these people, they built some tiny houses, like 10 of them, and a realtor was there. Now these are sheds, basically, shed. And the realtor's like, oh yeah, you could easily get $229,000 per tiny house. I'm like, what? It's a shed, a shed.
Yeah, that's
You know
just
what
a
I
new
mean?
legal that's a legal appellation, so that it falls into specific insurance terms. By calling it like a tiny house or whatever, instead of a shed, it's considered a different thing. So like, it's considered a different thing for the city bylaws, the state bylaws, for the construction, the permits and everything, the insurance, because you're kind of obligated to have insurance on a building if it's a certain proximity to other buildings. Because like, if you get power routed to your home, even if you're like in the middle of nowhere, because power is routed to you, you could technically affect the whole grid if you know what you're doing.
Hey, no, I'm a little rusty. I'm a little rusty on real estate. I ain't gonna lie, but I think as long as it, cause they got like churches fit under the one category, schools, industrial places, residential.
Yep.
All of those kind of fit into like different category type junk. So I feel like a tiny home is more so for like the person, 'Cause I don't know how much the average person envision the square feet when they hear that, but it's like, oh, I got it in this neighborhood, I got it in this. It can forget the neighborhood. You can live in there. You know what I mean? Now it's like, oh, this is a residential now, and then now it's like, why am I paying 200 racks for this? Then they dress it up. Oh, we in this neighborhood. You got access to the shopping malls and stuff. The properties around it may be high value or something like that. So they kind of dress it up like that. But the tiny home reference, I think, is for like a consumer point of view. Like, hey, I got a home for you, and you thinking it's a house. But if I say tiny home, you get more of an idea of like, oh, it's one of them little small things. Okay, okay. Even though they probably go out to see it, I'm not saying you never go out to see it, but it kind of like a reference point, I think, for the consumer point of view. I don't even think like the name got to do
the
with like
association. Like the moment you deal with anything that says association in it, you're done. That's not your house and that's not your property. You might as well just be renting it. You're not an owner there because it's an association.
Well, you kind of rent the stuff that you own too, though. You pay mortgage on the house unless you like pay it off. And then you still got to pay taxes on the house. You still got to pay taxes on the land. And then, you know what I mean? It's like, even I think owning and renting is like it's almost like an illusion, almost. And I'm only saying that because some may have better cons in some systems and some may have better pros, or I said better cons. You know what I mean?
Owning is always an illusion
right.
because your property is always susceptible to being confiscated by the ruling governmentship if they deem the area a strategic necessity for some kind of defense situation or some kind of activity that has to do with the state. Like, let's say all of a sudden, I don't know, like a portal to another world opens like in your backyard. That's not your house anymore.
It depends. It can still be your house, but you might not own the rights to the backyard no more. Bro. You can't get into no backyard.
Because you bought the land, you bought the house, but you bought it. It's in a territory. The territory is ruled by the government entity. That's why all this is like a weird spellcraft or witchcraft. Like all these properties, these deeds, they're all done on paper. They're all done with words. So one way or another, it's witchcraft because it's done on paper with words. It's spelling.
Yeah, and then it becomes dead when it's written on paper. It gets deep, man. The spiritual meaning behind a lot of this, bro. You're spot on completely. Getting into lawful versus legal, all these policies and codes that are basically overlaid to get in the way of people being sovereign or disconnected. Everything's contractual.
Yeah, yo, let me add on top of that. So
go ahead. Yep.
I'm some random dude you don't know. I want you to show up every day in the parking lot I just built at 11 at night, and I want you to stay all the way until 7 in the morning every day. I want you to do that. Are you gonna do that?
You gonna pay me?
Exactly. If you get paid, you'll do it. Therefore, I created the magic of incentivization. And I'm incentivizing you with these little talismans that have value to everyone to do something completely against your biology and against your desire.
No, but we
Right,
do that
so
already
in-
with ourselves, though. My back hurt, though.
So that's
No,
more
you're good,
witchcraft.
man. Yes, Dre, this gets into the public versus private, and, operating commercially. These are all things I'm just coming to realize on my path here. So it sounds like you got a pretty good understanding of a lot of this stuff, man. What's the other one? Yeah, public versus private. That's a big thing, man. Operating in trust. Just these principles that actually overlay and underlay reality, which I think people that would call themselves atheists will often write this stuff off as, it's woo-woo and whatnot. But there really is this type of, in my opinion, objective morality of right and wrong that's been twisted by the so-called state. But we've just been bamboozled over generations and generations, and through these resets that we've willingly contracted in to these systems for the benefits and privileges as quote-unquote citizens for this corporate body. So we're all working for the corporation. The United States is a corporation. There's the nation as a landmass, and then just like Dre was saying, the borders, right? These different institutions, the airspace, right? And so we were talking about fire, earth, air, water, these different things, and how they apply in so many ways. Well, he's talking about the airspace. Well, there's maritime law, the law of the land, the law of the sea. I'm sure many of us have heard some people start to talk on these things more and more these days, because it's very true. There's a lot of truth here, and it's only just making its way back, it would seem. Kind of like the old world stuff y'all were talking about earlier with free energy, the architecture, why it was built the way it was built on the insides and on the outsides. But anyway, y'all got it.
Study law.
Like the water we drink. How many
No,
times?
I
do
don't
we
study
drink?
law. If you asked me that, my bad. I don't know if you were asking me that or someone else, but I've only just started to look into it per se, and get some type of rough understanding through certain people online that speak on it. But I wouldn't say I officially study it. Maybe I'm starting to though. Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all got it.
Yeah. What were you saying, Shiva? Sorry.
I was saying, like the water we drink. How many times has that been drank by somebody else or something else, or used by something else?
Mm-hmm.
And no, there's no actual borders anywhere. There's not a physical line in the desert between California and Arizona, or Nevada and Utah, or what, you know. These are just agreements that, yeah, like he said earlier, that we're agreeing to let somebody else think for us, let somebody else control our movements.
That reminds me of, like, there's always in these shows, especially comedy shows, where people get into arguments and they like draw a line on the ground in the room. Like, this is my side, that is your side. We do not cross on each other's side. That usually only happens when people are pissed off at each other. So a border in a
Yeah.
country only exists because everyone's angry with each other.
Well, in fear, not willing to look beyond themselves for any kind of truth, getting stuck in that what might be called masculine sense, the one spiral without taking account of the other thing that's actually going on. You know,
In
water doesn't
Taoism, anger is applied fear.
water doesn't even respect our own boundaries. Water leaves freely out of my body.
It's kind of like any way we create a mindset or a technology, some type of idea of a country or system, it's like so that we don't have to do it while we're there. We have fear. If something goes wrong, we can create a technology so that if we're not paying attention next time, it'll automatically filter into a place where there's no fear. But by doing that, we're giving up, because if we're there in each moment, there's no need to outsource a map.
I think one of the pros in this is like, hey, I'm gonna do this way, and then do like, I'm gonna do it this way, and then like there's no medium point. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna start this. All right, I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna start this, and then it's like, all right, bro, you know what? That tree right there, nobody passes that tree, and then now you got
Yeah,
like these
that's
perceptual
that's
borders
still
happening.
out of like
But it's not
fear,
to say like
because that's applied
they're angry at each
anger.
other or it's out of fear. No, it's like, bro, if you like apples and I like oranges, and you want to go an apple orchard, but I want to grow orange trees and junk, and then it's like, you know what? Nah, you know what? How about you go over there and do that? I do myself over here, and then we both like, yeah, I'm cool with that. Like, I may not agree with your setup, but I don't have no problem with you. Just do it over there.
Yeah,
like,
but the limit to
I'm not
that
scared
is
of
when
it,
the
it's not like
environment
fear.
doesn't allow for like that anymore. So like you got the only area that allows to grow both, and one way or another that's gonna lead to a conflict, because that's the only place where it actually will grow.
Right, so this comes to operating in good faith and operating in equity and trust. This is what I've heard people speak on a lot, and I'll just leave it at that. Y'all got it. Continue.
I ain't gonna good faith. I'm not gonna lie. Good faith is like credibility and stuff. You know what I mean? Like how credible you are. Like people that's credible or something like that. Like, oh, how good is your credit or what? Or your
Being
credit
genuine
score?
with your intention. Yeah, you're on it.
Yeah, like that. That's the funny part though. Like, no matter how that's why I was like, it's good to like if we don't agree, I'm gonna come over here you go over there. Not even like nobody had to go anywhere, but it's like no matter how genuine my intention is, I can't control how it's perceived. You know what I mean? So it's like this expression is always going to express itself. I can sit here all day and try to convince this dude that my intentions are good, or convince this person or this bug, but it's like they're going to do like whatever they trying to do type jump. And then it's like, you know what? Okay, I got a problem with you. I'm about to come over here and start this. Not like we angry with each other, or you know what I mean? It's like you don't go into somebody else's home and be like, yo, you should knock these walls down. You know what? No, we not friends no more because you won't knock the walls down. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I see what you did in your house over here, bro. This look nice. I see you. And then you go over to his house or my house. Oh, bro, I see how you got the oranges laid out. Okay, I see you over here. But it don't mean like it's conflict or something like that. It's like, I got this vision,
The
and he may
conflict
not
will,
align with that. Boom, boom, boom.
the conflict will happen when too many people get together in an area and it stops being like, oh, I know this person, I know that person. When you start to not know everyone, that's when the conflicts happen, because after that it's like, okay, well, we got to secure these areas and we got to make sure that we know what's going on at all times in our village or in our borders or in our country. And if we don't, then we'll have someone who's competition or a potential competition. And I can't be 100% sure, even if you're my friend state, even if you're my ally, I can't be 100% sure that you're going to stay my ally. Because what if all of a sudden you have a population problem? Like, let's say y'all don't have a certain food anymore, and I do. And I can't really spare that food right now, but you're going to do everything possible to make sure that yours can still eat. So it's like these weird scenarios and situations that occur. So you kind of don't want any competition. You want to be the one who manages everything. You want to be the one who says, okay, you guys get to have this amount of food. You guys get to have this amount of fuel to make sure that my core main like crew always gets what they need first.
Liberty in the pursuit of happiness. That's what I got from what you just said. And that's, I understand what you're saying, Khan. It's like, this is what reality is. It's this constant fine tuning of these separate entities or beings or realities crossing over and, hashing out all that gray area in between of the two beings and coming together. What are they going to build? Or what's going to come out of the, what type of conflict resolution, right? Because we were kind of touching on the law aspect of it. So the word remedy comes to mind. Like, are both parties seeking remedy truly in good faith? So all this, there's a lot of gray area, but that's where all the magic is, right? That's where all the stuff in between happens. But y'all got it.
It's like when two people are together, they're like, or when a group of people's working all together, there's no question, there's no words. It's just something happening. But then,
yeah,
it's
there
like
you
when
go.
there's a misalignment, all of a sudden there's like a shadow of a doubt, like you said, a gray area, and a dynamic can be created. Like if people think they know what someone's going to say before they're going to even say it based on something in the past.
Yeah, but check this out. The three most abundant places on Earth are the South Americas, America, and China. And they don't play well together with other people. They pretend like they do, but all of them want like other places is like resources, other places is territory, whatever. The only reason why they don't is because we have this thing called the United Nations in place, where everyone agreed that if someone doesn't participate in the rules, the entirety of the whole like world will come down on them and punish them. Punishment is duress because it's threat. Anytime you have to comply, you can only comply when you're being under duress or threat, because you don't need to comply with anything if you're the major power.
And that's why people can feel like if they're doing something together, somebody else starts doing something like a different way, it can feel like a threat. Like if two people are together, then one person sometimes being too direct, it's like that inception thing. Like the more you try to say one thing, like convincing somebody that you're trustworthy or something, it's like, why do you feel the need to do that? What's understood don't got to be explained. Now that person can project so many different double realities, then double realities get created.
In order to be like a large body of people, you have to have like city guards, defense, a small military at least, or militia, or something that will protect the people if something happens. One of the main aspects of that is that protectorate or that defensive quality always has to assume that people they don't know are a threat or potential threat, and they always have to also assume that the people that they're protecting might also be a threat. So you have two levels of always needing to assume that possibility, because sometimes it actually does manifest in yeah, that's a Trojan horse. Those people were trying to be friendly, but they were actually trying to like take over the place. They were actually trying to game everyone.
You know, when you speak on that, I don't know if someone's trying to talk. It sounds like it was muffled. I don't know if someone's trying to use the mic. I was just gonna say real quick, and then y'all got it. Speaking on that community dynamic, know thyself definitely applies, but on the collective scale, y'all got it.
What do you mean by that?
Know thyself translates ultimately in having like complete pure confidence and honesty in being able to like fully express yourself without having any reservations.
Yeah, but
Or knowing when to have reservations based on the environment or situation so as to not put you or someone else at risk depending on if you're able to like spot that.
I know what it means, but how do you interpret that on a collective scale?
Well, if the whole collective knows that they might be susceptible to being scammed, it's less of a chance that they get scammed.
I think know thyself means being awake in the moment. Were you gonna say something, Shiva?
Yeah,
that's self-awareness.
Having the thought that I need to be number one puts me in fear of anybody else who might take my position.
Is it
But,
actually
like,
loving being number one, or is it just fear of not being number one at some point?
Yeah, the standing on top. Well, we live in a realm where there's high and low, up and down.
Well, that's
good and bad.
immediately division. To be number one is division immediately, nothing else.
So having the highest power, having the most power, you're now in fear of somebody who's going to take that from you. So the thought of knowing thyself is experiencing that you already have this power. You already are number one, yet we're also made up of thousands or trillions of different things working together to even let me have this experience.
But think about this.
So a thought of receptivity and receiving the information as it's presented lets me to be more aware of this current moment than I might have been previously.
Think about this. You're number one, but if you're hanging from a ledge and you can't get yourself up, you need number two to come help you. So at that moment, you're number one.
And even then, it's like anytime we want to run to someone else for help, like a scapegoat, the same person who is the devil is also the president. It's the scapegoat, like Jesus in them. Like, it's always the good and the bad. You can't find them in the same space. But I think like what you're saying, Redwin, any map you would need, any wisdom we accumulate or skillfulness throughout the travel to see clearly in the moment and not get taken off that track, it's going to come back down to being in the moment and knowing that we know everything we need to know. We don't know what we don't know. We know what we know. To be clear enough and not emotionally reactive, compulsive, so that it covers up what we need in that moment.
When you said that thing about like the president and the devil, that reminded me like of this like saying, that they have like when you're young or whatever. Like, I'm gonna have to be the bad guy and say no, you guys can't have ice cream right now. You got dinner in 30 minutes.
And that seems like the devil, but then everyone in another future, everyone eats ice cream. Then look what happened. What were you gonna say, Kristen?
Nah, somebody in the chat said define what is the self alone, the ego. Like, what is the self? What is the ego?
It's a skin around our true self. It's just like a scab. It happens when you shine light. Like, the longer you get in this world, the more light shines on you, the thicker your skin gets. Especially if you're getting like poked at and stuff.
But
Calluses.
as well, man, the more like that we let society unfold, the more words stop having their original meaning and they start having like a different meaning based on how people want to interpret them and then like share them around. Because like if you look at the actual definition of the word ego, which should be the actual like meaning of ego, it's a little bit different than what the word ego means when people use it, because they're gonna be like, oh, you got ego. Oh, that's ego. You got a big ego. But if you look up the definition of the word ego, that's like just the word itself defined. Like it's the persona, it's the character. And like
Yeah,
even if you
forget the
stop being
whole.
you and you get reincarnated in another person, or you don't get reincarnated anymore, you don't have a body, you're still an ego.
But I think we have to know anytime we want to pick something up accurately, we got to pick it down in ourselves mind with some Platonian Greek philosopher. Sometimes it's hard to pick up what they were putting down. And there's so much different interpretation over the years. It's more intuitive in my experience.
Don't we give the meanings to the words? I mean, the word cool meant a certain temperature faculty.
Right. Exactly.
So in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, we used cool as to describe something that we like doing.
Right.
So it goes back to, you can gain some information from etymology, but these are also created, just like the laws, were also created by somebody who has a specific perspective. Now, in the social context, we can agree and have consensus on something, but there's also, a rose would a rose smell as sweet by any other name?
How
doesn't
would you
really-
elementally define or describe someone who is perceived as cool? Like what elements would you associate to that?
So we can describe things in many different ways, and that's your own truth in that situation. That's what you believe to be true. And who's to say that's wrong? Who's to say that
what I'm
person
saying is like
isn't
when
cool, or that person is cool? Like that's my own perspective. So then to represent that to somebody else, it's only based on their receptivity of my experience. If they're not receptive to it, then they're not going to see the things the way that I see them. And that's
Right, but
okay. That's
no,
not for
I'm
me
talking
to
about like the
decide.
elemental like association to that, because they say like, oh, that's hot, or yo, that's cold, or that's cool. What would be cool? Like, is it
That's
like a
fire.
refreshing breeze on a hot day or something? Like, it's just
I
something
was gonna
that makes
say
you
air.
feel at ease.
Yeah, first thing that comes to my mind is air or water, but I would say air before water. But I'm an Aquarius. That's an air sign, so that's why I would say that. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you mean
It's fun to play around with.
do you mean what do people consider cool?
Like, no, like, what would be the elemental emotional association to something being cool? Like, would it be like, oh, it's a hot day, it's unbearable, and then all of a sudden you get like a cool breeze? Would that be
No.
like what that person is or that aspect is?
It'd be like, once you're hot, you're like, I'm hot, I gotta get out of here quick. But if you're like, I'm cold. My fault.
You too hot, Theo. You too hot.
But then it's like, once you like say, I'm cold, you'd be like stagnant, like retracted. And then cool is like, nah, I'm cool. You could be like, I'm cool on that because you're like content. Or you could be like, that's cool. It's like warm. I don't know. Seems intuitive to me. I think like when we travel through the words, we'll go through all of history, we'll go through the dictionary, we'll go through our intuition. And then at some point, everything just makes more sense. The more intuitive we are, the more we look for references, sometimes it gets blinded by the light. I think.
I think that's the nature of our reality, though, looking for references, always trying to compare, contrast.
Yeah, reality is contextually based. You're exactly right. And it's always an interesting point to bring up because look at how we've, throughout the ages, used all these colloquial terms and different sayings and phrases that our grandparents and parents passed down. Certain cultures have their different sayings and little metaphors and meanings or myths and allegories.
We're making it up as we go along. I hope you know that. I hope you all know that.
Yeah, it's malleable, no
Mhm.
doubt.
Hey, he's using SAT words over here.
Oh my God, I don't even know what you mean by that. Like, I know what the SAT is, but because I said malleable.
Yeah, I don't SAT word if I don't know how to spell. I know what it means, but I don't know how to spell malleable. I've never written it.
Yeah,
There's lots to play with in the paradoxes.
I am about to head out now because my girl just made it home. So yeah, that part.
Nuh-uh, true.
Now you ain't stopping this, BGL. You don't got that much power. You think?
BGL come back like, nah, nigga. I was just about. I just made it to work. I just made it from work. I was about to come in and tell Con my experience.
She was supposed to tell you how she was paid.
Now you got to cut her off as soon as she was about to let it all loose. Come on now.
That's all right.
Other
We'll
day.
be back.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
be back.
we got her.
We'll be back.
Come back in an hour.
We
Yeah,
love
so
you,
it's and it's crazy because it's a heat wave right now, so I'm starting to sweat in here.
Ooh, buddy. Have fun over there. I got my AC on. It's 60 degrees outside. I still got my AC.
Beautiful out today for
put
me.
some
I
of
got
it
the
in.
window open and the fan on. It says it's cool.
Put some of that cool air in the envelope and send it to me.
My fan towards
Ooh, it's 65
I just got
out.
done with 2 months of 100 to 105. It's finally comfortable now.
Oh, wow.
You're in Arizona? Oh, no, you're in Romania.
Yeah, man, it gets hot in Romania. I had no idea.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah, that's wild. But all right, I'm going to holler Discord. Peace out.
All right, bye.
Good talking to you. Good talk.
Yeah. And everybody on YouTube and TikTok or wherever you at, peace out, man. Y'all have a beautiful